This meeting of the Board of Supervisors, Penn Township, Wednesday, December the 30th, 2015, will now come to order. We will stand for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
I think they get beaked, I'm not sure. They don't bite. Oh, I don't know.
I'd like to announce that there had been one executive session for purpose of interviewing people, personnel interview. The other thing I'd like to extend at this time, at the end of this meeting, there will be executive session to be passed on to the new supervisor and some information to come to the other board of supervisors here tonight. Mr. Landis, I appreciate you are invited into that executive session.
Thank you.
Okay? This time we'll have recognition of visitors.
You got some on the list first.
Okay, Robin Course, Insurance Package. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Okay.
I think you have a copy of the proposal in front of you.
Yeah.
Page one is just the cover sheet. And the second page just goes over the coverages. Pretty much everything remains the same. There's a 3% inflation increase for the property values. And then Helen keeps me updated throughout the year with equipment changes, vehicle changes. And we just had one day or two ago. So page 3 is just more of the coverages. Page 4 are the actual premiums. And as in the past years, I also got 2 other comparison quotes to compare with the current MRM Trust program. And you can see that the MRM Trust program is still way better than the other 2 competitors. And as you can see at the bottom, the dividends, you're doing very well with the dividends, and you're online to get another one for the upcoming year. So I don't know if there's any questions, but like I said, I think they're still by far the best package program to go with. The pages after that are just a list of all the buildings and equipment and vehicles. Want to look over. Helen has gone over it with me and pretty much approved everything there. So.
Okay, before we move on that, I'd like to thank you for all the years that I've worked with you.
Thank you.
You have been very trustworthy and have really made an endeavor to get us the best prices by shopping around.
I appreciate that.
And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Without further ado, I had looked at this earlier. What is the wish of the board to adopt an MRM trust for our insurance needs?
I'll make that motion that we accept the MRM trust quote for our insurance for the coming year.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Okay, Betty Albright.
Good evening. I am here today to have you do something about my neighbor's trash. His garbage collector comes on Wednesday mornings, collects the garbage, which is always overflowing and is out all the time. 2 weeks ago, the week before Christmas, the garbage man comes early in the morning, the trash was gone. Later that Wednesday, there were 3 full cans of garbage there overflowing, and that garbage was there until the next Wednesday when they picked it up, with additions around the cans. When I look out my front window, I get up in the morning and look out my front window, the first thing I see is these garbage cans. The back of his place is down over the hill, for I'm up here, and I look down over him. I live on 10 Susquehanna Hill Road, and he is 405 Schoolhouse Lane Extended, Schoolhouse Road Extended. He's been, the office is aware of this, Chief Pickles is aware of this, he knows what it looks like. And I came up to the office several months ago, and I talked with the secretary and to see if there was an ordinance. And there's a nuisance ordinance, but evidently this doesn't come under a nuisance. Well, let me tell you, it's a nuisance. I have lived in that house, we built it 59 years ago. We have never had anything like that. There is no garbage left out all week anywhere on that hill or in the area. And all I'm asking is something be done, because evidently he listens so long to the police, and then he does what he wants. I think he thinks he's John Tasker reincarnated, and he isn't. And something needs to be done. I often wish we had the bear back, because the bear would have taken care of it a long time ago. I only have a 12-pound dog, and she couldn't even get up to the garbage to take care of it. So, can't you pass an ordinance that garbage not be put out until the night before, or get something that it isn't out all weekend? He didn't have it out over Christmas, that much I will say. But
So
it
we
was
don't
out
have-
Monday morning for Wednesday's pickup.
We don't have anything that says that they can't put it up within 24 hours of pickup?
Not that I know of. That's not covered under the nuisance, is it?
No, but we've been up there a couple times because there was trash around the cans, and then he does clean it up for a while. There used to be, the people that owned the house before him had a little shed there for the cans, and they had doors on it and everything. Well, over time, the doors are gone, and now the posts are rotted, and it's sort of leaning on just a bush.
I have a
And
picture if you'd like to see it.
And I just came by tonight on the way here, and actually, there's 5 cans there now, 3 in that little shed, and 2 actually on the road, so that's a new.
Does their trash company have a rule about putting it out prior?
Not that I know of.
Okay, no, I'm just.
I mean, I know my trash company doesn't,
Okay.
and I don't know if he has Sylvester's or not. but-
No, he doesn't have
Okay.
Sylvester's. I don't know who he has, it's always
The only other
there.
one in the township is Coqualamus Creek.
If
Well,
you,
Somebody picks it up before daybreak on Wednesdays, because it's going,
Yeah, that's probably Coqualamus.
Oh, and
And-
could
Yeah.
be waste management too.
That's
Do
way
They're
back.
out very
do they
early.
come
That-
down on
that's
that
waste
still? Because
management.
at one time they stopped.
Nope.
Okay, waste management.
so we do not have an ordinance about a time frame in which trash can be put out.
Not that I know of.
Can you research PSAT for us and see if they have an ordinance that we can take a look at and see if we can look in this in the future?
Yep. Could do
But
that.
unfortunately, the only thing that we can do at this time is just, chief, you just keep talking to him, asking him to be
Well,
polite.
the location, especially now with the cans that are actually in the street now, so, that can't be. And of course, when the plows go by, I'm sure that, that's gonna destroy
Yeah.
everything anyway. Because it's pretty close to the road up there, it's like less than, I'm saying within a 3 foot.
Ms. Albright, we do not have an ordinance, as you're aware, but we are directing Helen to do some research on an ordinance for us to be able to put one together, and hopefully in the future, we can get this together. And right now, we can't resolve it this way, but in the future, hopefully we can.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
Okay, Floyd and Sue Smith.
I'd just like to know where we stand right now with the Quails household. That's beginning to get worse and worse out there. There's not only just trash, there's garbage, things that shouldn't be there. At least 1 or 2 vehicles without a date inspection, tags, and everything else.
The porch is falling down.
It's really not fit for habitation. I don't, why we let it sit there like it is.
And citations have been issued, and they're in the court systems right now.
Because what happens is we continually lose money on the properties that we have because of the way this property looks. And you have to go buy that property before you get to any rest of us. But I know they're continuous a nuisance, I know, but there should be something we can do permanently. We've lived there 12 years and it's been that way for 12 years. Yeah, there should be some method or something we can do.
Right,
Usually,
Kevin?
once enough citations go through, the court system then asks us to start citing them on a daily basis.
Well, we got that point yet?
That, no, I mean, we haven't had it, we weren't asked by the court system yet, but to do that. We've done that on several properties, and that usually ends it right down there.
But the township itself can't do anything to declare it unfit for habitation and close it up.
We'd have to go get our inspector out there and have him inspect it.
And I believe he did, and they looked at the.
Did he
that's
go
what
out
the
there for you
porch
guys?
roof that was covering actually the access from the front door. It was actually blocked from the porch roof.
And it's worse now.
Okay,
Yeah.
you had Bob go out and look at it?
I thought, I wasn't sure if he.
I
could go or
haven't
not.
called him to go out to the quals.
There's not a window in the house that's intact anymore.
And they just throw the air conditioners out on the floor and ground, and there they lay. It's just ridiculous.
There's a couch laying there that's been there for over a year.
And they
So
bought a
they're still
new-
occupying the residence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought a new front door and it's still there.
A son and his.
Laying there.
wife
And
Maybe
see, the thing of it is, the house is only about 10 feet from the road.
I'm thinking maybe the Mladenoff subdivision, once that's settled, then it'll change, I believe.
And the citations go through the district magistrate?
Yes.
Do we have to start putting in a complaint every day?
No, well,
What good
that'll
does that do?
I mean,
be,
what-
yeah, that'll be told us by the district justice when he finally says for the last time, we're done. We're done here. After 30 days, if this doesn't cleaned up and it isn't continually cleaned up, then I'm gonna instruct that citations be issued on a daily basis.
Do we know how many citations have been issued so far, roughly?
I don't have that number here now, several though, quite a few actually, because they used to get citations for the trailer behind there, and then that got so dilapidated that they moved into the house with the mother.
And you guys haven't called Bob out there at all for the condition of the house?
We didn't know.
Okay, then we can do that and go through the UCC for unfit to live in.
They haven't had the UCC code inspector out there held. I was just out there yesterday riding all the roads,
Mhm.
and the house is in deplorable condition.
Yeah, Henry can tell you what it looks like.
Yep, I just was out there yesterday and saw that.
Does that have to be a motion, or could we just have, okay.
Just tell,
And that's Bob, the UCC?
yeah, Bob Pinoni,
No,
yeah. Okay.
And one other note, in the same area out there, we have a continuing problem with goats. One of our neighbors. They just roam all over the place, they eat anything that they can find.
And leave whatever they leave other places?
You know, our neighbor just had their Christmas lights and stuff torn up with these dumb goats.
I think Cliff just got a complaint on that.
Yeah, we did, and we've been out there several times, actually, the goats will follow you back in there. I've actually mended the fence several times, and I have no more fence material at my house to bring down to fix it, so,
Is
he's
there
gotta
any chance we
decide.
can get the Humane Society to come in there and, declare them, not living under proper conditions and take custody of them, get rid of them, or what?
Yeah, we can talk to the cart team and see if they go out and take a look at it too. and see
Do
what-
they have shelter and food and that's
They
it?
have
They-
shelter,
Don't know if
They
they have.
do, and we're not sure about the food
Food.
or anything, but, and he's gone quite a bit of time.
yeah, he'll be gone for days at a time, and
Yeah, and they don't get nothing to eat.
unless he has a whole bunch of stuff, but goats are like horses, they'll eat meat, I think, that'll all be gone.
But you wake up in the morning, you look out, like the lady said, you look out your front window and there's 7 or 8 goats in the front lawn.
And they've been going up on Sanderson's porch, their deck, and pooping up there, and just making a general nuisance of themselves.
Sweep the poop off.
Yeah, they're very fun.
Oh, there it is.
See you
I'm
back
the
there.
neighbor.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, I took it back here.
How many of those goats are here?
0.
Well, if they're eating organic, you can use it as fertilizer.
Now, Christmas lights, I don't know how they would break down in the fertilizer.
Recyclable.
Yeah. And they're small goats, I mean, they're just little pygmy
Pygmies.
things, you know.
They're still supposed to have livestock under
Oh,
control, though.
absolutely.
So that's not the ones that if you scare them, they fall over?
No,
No, it's not those,
That's the
no.
feeding.
no, they don't get scared, and they all have horns too, the males and females are all, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta watch the big guy, he'll get you if you're not looking.
Yeah, you don't turn your back on him.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He'll get you every time.
You take a look at whether they're being treated properly, that's one thing where you can send people out to take a look at.
Yeah, get the guy from Cart Mead, what,
Yeah,
take a look
yeah.
and see.
You-
I mean, they seem in good condition to me anyway, they don't seem,
Yeah, the ribs aren't sticking out,
No.
I think they're well nourished, they're really fat.
but they're, you know, at the expense of the neighbors, but, you know, it's, you know, so. But he's been told several times, but, he's a disabled, transit authority from New York. He was injured in 9/11, so.
I would ask to take another visit out there, Pickles, to tell him, you know, he needs to take a look at that, he needs to get that under control, or the big thing of it is I hate to tell you this is a neighbor over the fence thing more than anything else. If the township don't have an ordinance, if I have livestock and they get out and get the neighbors, well, I'm liable for that damage and for those animals being there. And it's a hard thing, but without getting into a neighborhood dispute, if there isn't something on the books to do it. And he has the right to keep them also, or he has the right to have them, but he also has to have the responsibility to have control
I thought there is an ordinance on them.
on.
On which part?
Huh?
On which part?
I don't know, I faxed it in with.
Oh, that's the nuisance ordinance on pets
Yeah.
being, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what
Mhm.
you have right now.
Yeah, they're not pets, right? They're not pets. They
You
call
got
it.
names?
Yeah, you gotta make it, names for it,
Ready?
Yep.
Mr. Benner?
Um,
Oh, I'm sorry.
we didn't have a motion for Bob, for Helen to call Bob for the UCC inspection. We need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion for that if you feel you need
Okay.
one. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion made with second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Mr. Benner?
Just here for the subdivision plan.
Okay. Cece?
I think my concern is going to be addressed later under old business A.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gauss?
No, not this time.
Mrs. Gauss? Jesse Boyer?
No, thank you.
Mr. Holman?
The reason I'm here is a few months ago, I came to the Board of Supervisors to address a situation where Officer Goodling was called out to Kincora Nursing Home in response to a call that they placed, and he ordered my wife and I, under threat of arrest, to leave Kincora. And at that meeting, I provided Chairman Holman with a copy of a report. And I also informed you that there was a letter on file from Kincora's attorney, Parno, that depicted on my interaction, my wife's interaction with Officer Goodling. And I at that time stated that that letter was totally bogus and that I had incontrovertible evidence to disprove that letter. And so I'm here to find out, and I asked the solicitor, or the board, to discuss this issue with your police department and with Officer Goodling. So I'm here to find out what action, if any, the supervisors have taken on this matter.
I looked at all the information we had on that, and it boils down to one thing: King Core doesn't want you there. Is that correct?
Well,
They've issued it that they don't want you on the property. Am I not correct?
that's an opinion that they may have told you.
I'll get the file.
The reason I'm here,
Yeah.
so I want to know what discussion you had with your police. I offered to educate your police on the law regarding the residents' rights. I didn't get any answers back from supervisors about that, so I'm wondering what action you took.
And it would be personnel issues and.
I'm sorry?
It would be a personnel issue and we'll discuss that.
Okay. So you consider this a personnel issue, a personal issue,
Personnel.
a personnel issue with your personnel? I'm confused. Who's the issue with?
Well, you ask what was discussed with the personnel, with the officers, and that is, anything that's discussed with, as far as personnel, it's not disclosable.
Okay. The problem is, my discussion with your officer, at the time that we met at Contora, and the portrayal in that letter are diametrically opposed. And I said I had incontrovertible evidence to prove that. And under advisement of our attorneys throughout this whole case, this has been going on for about 2 years, we were advised that if we suspected criminal activity, that we were allowed to make recordings. So, subsequent to my interaction with your officer, I put in a right-to-know request to your department, which was denied. Subsequent to that, I visited your department, I had a conversation with Chief Pickles, and I asked him if the officer's report would corroborate that letter. And he said, absolutely. I said, would your officer be willing to swear to that in a court of law? And he said, absolutely. So I'm telling you now that the recording does not bear witness to the statement in that letter. The statement in that letter is a crime. It is a crime to use the police to deny somebody of their rights. It's a misdemeanor. So whoever made the false statement to your police committed a crime. I'm going to give you the law tonight regarding residents' rights. I'm going to give you the federal law, I'm going to give you the state law, and I'm going to give you a copy of Concora's own policy, which they must have in place in order to be compliant with state and federal law. Let me give you those copies. And I want to give the remainder of the supervisors a copy. And someone else here is going to be a supervisor.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to give you a copy if you want a copy of our report.
Please.
This is a copy of the whole report of the incident at Concora. These are copies of Pennsylvania Code Title 55, which guarantees the residents' rights to visit. This is a copy of Code of Federal Regulations 42, Section 483.1, also guarantees the residents' rights to visit. This is a copy of Concora's own manual, which they have to have in place in order to be licensed. They must comply with state and federal law. That's a copy of the law. So from here on out, you're now informed about the state and federal law.
Do you need a copy of what he's passing Normally I do get it, put it in the file.
So this is a matter of law. Your police department is involved, and still is, because I'm under threat of arrest if I return to Kinkora. This is a violation of my civil rights and the residents' civil rights.
The letter that we have here from Capozzi and Adler, and it's highlighted here, accordingly, you are hereby notified that you are strictly prohibited from entering the Kinkora home property under any circumstances unless you have first requested or obtained the written approval of the administrator. Copy of this letter is being provided to the Penn Township Police Department. It is my understanding that if you enter the Kinkora Pythian home premises without the express written approval of the administrator, you will be in violation of 18 Section 3503, defiant trespass, a misdemeanor offense. And what they're saying there, Mr. Holman, is they don't want you there.
Well, that's fine, they can say that, but right
That is
now,
a matter between you and
his license,
Kinkora Home.
his license is under review
Well,
with the State
that's a
Department.
matter between you and
this
them.
is-
We have
well,
nothing in it.
In what capacity were you attempting to visit? I mean, what was your capacity,
Just as a visitor.
your visitor?
Yeah. You can take that position, but when it comes to a lawsuit, your position will not stand.
Well,
We're following the law, and we're simply asking this Board of Supervisors to follow the state and federal law.
they're the one that's made the statement that you were not invited, that there was no people asked for you to be there, etc. They don't want you on it. This is
Mr.
no,
Holman, did
this
you
is
read the
no
law?
different, this
Did you
is no
read the law
different than
that I just
anybody
gave
that has
you?
a private piece of property such as my own. And you don't want to leave, or you say you have the right to be there, naturally, I'm going to call a law officer to have
That's a
you
violation
removed.
of state and federal law.
Defiant trespass.
Okay, you can keep that position, but I tell you, it will not hold up in a court of law.
Well, we're not involved with that court of law.
Not yet.
Well, until
Uh,
it gets there,
I'm going to
guess-
give you copies of letters from the U.S. Attorney and a copy of a letter from the Auditor General. And then Mr. McTurnan is the investigator that did the investigation. He's following me, and I think he can add and show you the magnitude of this case and what you're involved in.
so. Thank you.
Henry, can I ask him a question?
Sure.
Mr. Holman, that right to know request you mentioned, did you make that to the county or to the township?
I'm sorry?
That right to know request you made that was denied
I came to your department.
to the police department?
Yes.
Okay. That's funny. Okay, when, do you know time
Yeah, I have
period?
copies of all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does the police department have its own right to know officer?
No, no, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
The right-to-know officer is Captain,
No, the right to know officer is not Captain Pickles,
no,
or Captain Carlson.
yeah, I think he's the one that, you have a right-to-know officer.
I am the right to know officer, that's why I was asking.
Last year.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever I communicated with, it was, it's, if they don't respond, it's deemed denied.
Yes.
And I did visit the office. I had the conversation.
Okay.
So when it's deemed denied, I have to assume that I'm still under investigation.
Oh, I understand, I was just questioning
Yeah.
on whether you submitted
And
it.
I'm still under threat of arrest. which is a violation of my civil rights.
But all you were attempting to do was to visit a resident?
I'm sorry?
All you were attempting to do was visit a resident?
Yes. No reason was ever given to me why my wife and I are not allowed. That letter's a lie.
Well, that may be a lie, but that,
Well, if your
I didn't
officer's
create
going
that
to-
letter. Their attorney from King Court created this letter. And you want to deem it a lie, you deem it a lie. There's nothing this Board of Supervisors can do about it. That's between you and them. Your
Yes, sir.
action needs to be taken
Well,
with King Court,
you can-
not
you
Penn
can keep that
Township or
position.
our police department.
You can maintain your position. It's not gonna be beneficial for you to do that.
Well, we can't get down there and say.
I'm not asking you to go and do anything. I'm asking you to have your police comply with the state and federal law. You read that law and tell me if people are allowed to visit nursing home residents. Read it. Did you read anything I
And
gave
they
you?
state the conditions as
Did
to
you-
which you
No,
can do
there
that.
are no
Yes, they
conditions
do.
in that
They state
law.
it right here.
There's no conditions in the law. Read it.
Well, I'm not saying condition in the law. They've made a statement as to why they don't want you there.
What's their statement?
And it's here from this
Why,
letter here.
why am I not allowed in? I'll tell you.
Okay, I'll tell you just exactly what this letter said from the attorney, from Mr. Parno. By letter dated 18/2014, you were instructed not to enter the grounds of the King Coropithian home unless first invited by a resident of the home.
Which I had. given.
Well, that's between you and them. I can't dispute that, and neither can this department here or this township enforce that.
And that's a violation
Not to enter
of the
the
law.
grounds of the King Court, but we can't get down there and tell them what they want to do with their own
No,
private
but you can
property,
send your
just like
police
you
down
want
to
us to do
violate
with
my
yours.
rights.
Mr.
Why
Holman,
can you
I'm
do
not gonna
that?
argue with you. This letter clearly spells it out and tells you what the story is. The issue is between you and King Court.
No, it is not. The issue is your police operating outside the law.
Well, then you have to do, if you feel that you're being unjust, then you'll have to take that issue if this board and this supervisors and this police department doesn't feel that's so.
Well, feelings have nothing to do with it.
Well, it's not feelings.
You know,
it's
if I
a-
conducted my life about,
Okay.
and I don't feel like stopping at a stop sign, is that the way you conduct business here, if you don't feel like it? If I don't feel like stopping at a stop sign, that doesn't negate the fact that I'm gonna stop at the sign. And as far as that incompetent part, that is all lies.
Well,
I gave
that's
you a
between
copy,
you and
I
them.
gave you a copy of the law that says only a court can adjudicate somebody incompetent.
Then you need to get it there.
Well, we'll see in court, I guess. I'm gonna let John
That's,
give you the ramifications of what your position's gonna be.
This is clear back in January 16th, 2015. This has gone on. You've been here before with the same matter. Okay? It was reviewed by our solicitor. And the whole 9 yards. You have the right to do what you want to do if you feel you're being unjustly accused or mistreated. And that's a matter for the court system, not for this board of supervisors.
We don't wanna go to court, but evidently you do.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you just said it's a matter for the court.
This is a matter between you and King Court,
No,
not
this is
between
now a
us
matter
and the
between
supervisors.
me and this township.
No, the township don't have any entrance into
Well, not
this.
according to our attorneys.
Well, then you have to,
Yeah, we'll have to sue.
after, well, you
We
have,
wanted to come here and
What?
settle this amicably,
well,
but you have no interest
I
in
can't
that.
get down there, and neither can Mr. Pickles, neither can any of this member of this board get down there and tie King Court's hands and say, tell them that they gotta change it. We can't do that.
Change
You
what?
wouldn't want that done to your own property. To change the fact that you're allowed on. They don't want you there, they don't want you there.
Okay. I have nothing to add.
Okay, thank you.
My paper back?
Yep.
Okay, Mr. McTerran?
Yeah, my name's Joe McTernan, I'm from Millerstown, and I'm a retired federal agent. I was the supervisor in charge in Harrisburg, and I was a private detective in Pennsylvania, I no longer am. I conduct the investigation here, and the problem is Concora does not have that right. The people that live there have the right. We have written permission to be there. And apparently the officer was told that when Mr. Holman was there, and he acknowledged it. The residents have given us written permission to come. They are not in prison there. It's like you rent a home. The landlord can't say who can come in, who can't, unless they're violating the law. No law was violated. There's nothing there to say there was any law violated. And your police are being used illegally there. That's what Mr. Holman is trying to tell you. Also, this is much bigger than Penn Township. This has been referred, this is spread out. My investigation has spread it out. The U.S. Attorney's involved, the Civil Rights Division. We've been in touch with the Auditor General, who has referred us to a task force on this. I have testified to the county commissioners. I have been to the district attorney, who gave an oral opinion that the residents have rights to be sued because their rights are being violated. That was concurred in a meeting where I had publicly with the district attorney in New Bloomfield. He acknowledged the meeting, he acknowledged it. This is much bigger than Penn Township, and you're being brought into it because your police are being used to violate the laws of the elderly. So you can sit there and say what you want, but we're telling you there is a avalanche coming your way, and we want to just have it amicable to go in there and be able to visit the elderly according to the law. If you read that letter that you were reading from, you will see that the elderly are declared incompetent, and they don't, in fact, he acknowledges in the letter that there was written permission for him to visit, but they're incompetent. Only a court can declare people incompetent, and then the people who's in charge, who's the guardian, can declare who they can see and who they can't see, not the administrator of a home for the elderly. He has no right to say who can come in, who can't come in under the law. That is between the person there, and if they are incompetent, that's not the word, it's incapacitated, it's their guardian. So I'd like to sit down with your solicitor on a one-on-one. We'll show you the evidence we have. We have recordings of the elderly's rights being abused. This is all going through the system, and you're in the middle of it. Whether you want to be or not, you are in the middle by denying the elderly the rights to people to visit who they want with written permission. And your police officer, wasn't he told at the time? He said he knew they had permission?
Yes.
So he said he knew they had permission.
The people wanted me there. I asked him if he was aware of the residents' rights. He said he was 110% correct. He is 110% incorrect.
So this is abusing the rights of the elderly by not allowing them to see who they want, and you're in the middle of it. Thank you.
And the people that are refusing the rights is King Corps, not us.
But the police are being used. You are being used if we have written permission to go. If he goes in there, he's gonna be arrested based on that letter. And we're telling you, we have written permission. If we present you with written permission, will your police then say,
Then I
okay,
would
you can
recommend
come
to Chief Pickles that there be no officers sent down there when these people go down, just force their way into King Corps. Let them call the state police, which they will do. That's tough. That's the only way you can take a look at it. If you don't respond to that, I still say that
So
King
the
Corps
position
is
is,
one.
you're gonna tell your police to back down?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you just said that.
I just made the statement, Mr. Pickles there, that if that's what you want to do, that's what you want us to do, not to
We want you just to
respond.
stand down. If they
You
call
want
the
us
state
to
police,
stand
that's their
down,
business.
and then you get down and force your way in.
We're not
We're not
forcing the way
forcing our
in. We've
way
got
in.
written permission to go in.
They can say otherwise.
No, if you read the letter, it will say that they're not counting the written position because the people are incompetent.
That also
Which
says
is a
that
lie.
letter, they don't want you on the property.
It's not up to
Well,
them.
then
It's up to the people that are
You need to
there.
deal with them if you think you got that right, not
But
us.
we can't go in there because
We are
he's got a
dealing
letter
with
to
them.
arrest us.
We are dealing with them, but if you want looped and lassoed into the big picture, then stand your ground. We're trying to give you an out. There are other pieces of this investigation that are in the hands of the State Department right now. They're looking at it. The U.S. Attorney's looking at it for remedies. If you want to become part of that, if you want to become lassoed into this big investigation, stand your ground, because you're in violation of state and federal law. We're trying to get you out of the loop. Listen, I grew up in Perry County. I've lived here. I've been an elected official for 12 years, and my position is to obey the law, always.
You can sit there as an individual and tell me that we're violating and breaking the law, and that's your opinion.
It's not an opinion.
That has to come from an attorney or somebody else or someone with high authority gonna tell us that to support us. You gotta realize that.
Okay, you gotta realize you've been warned then.
Okay.
You've been warned, your department's been warned.
And
You've been told how that letter is false. We've showed it to you. I'm willing to sit down with your solicitor. We can lay the law out that they cannot declare anyone incompetent. Only a court can. And then they can't declare, anyone cannot come in there, only someone that's designated by the court in authority. He has no authority to say who can come and who can't. So, you've been advised.
From now on, you're culpable, and you have limited protection because of your political positions, but outside, you don't. You do not have complete protection on how you act in this board when you know you're disobeying the law.
I don't know that we're disobeying the law.
I just gave it to you.
Well, that's your opinion. That's not from someone, a higher court or someone else. You're telling me I'm breaking the law. I haven't heard it from a judge, and I haven't heard it from anybody else. And that's where it has to come from. It's going to have to come from somebody else. Mr. Smith can tell me I'm breaking the law, but it's going to have to come from someone else. Mr. Benner can. Everybody else can in here can say you're breaking the law. But the results of that's going to have to come from a judge or somebody else.
Is this the only place you banned from, is King Core? Is this the...
I went in there for 2 years and made friends and ministered to these people.
Is anybody, are you banned from any other places?
No.
So you can go up to Mark Keller's office and visit up there?
No, I can't.
Okay, so you are banned.
Does he have an assisted living home?
Pardon?
Does he have an assisted living home?
I just asked you if you were banned from someplace else, and you said no.
So evidently you've been in touch with Mark Keller's office.
We've been notified by a lot of people.
It's interesting, because this is starting to look, this is giving the appearance of the whole county involved, is giving an appearance now of a conspiracy to deprive the elderly of their rights. This is very interesting.
Okay. Thank you for coming. We've heard your plea one more time. Next, Helen.
Mr. Sanderson?
I'm here for,
Mladenovs for the plan. Betty, you're already done. Byron, Warner, wherever you're hiding.
By the way, and no, I don't have anything.
Sorry. Robin's dead. Bob Johnson.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Jeff Holman.
Nothing present.
Henry III. Job, you're here for that? I need the other list. Jody.
Not at this time.
Stanley.
Nothing at this time.
Lisa Landis.
Yes, thank you.
From some notes, so I can keep track. Good evening. I'm here tonight, not as a favor to anyone in this room, not as the daughter of an incoming supervisor, and not to represent my organization, This Is Done Canon. I'm here tonight as a private tax-paying citizen, and I have questions. My questions are regarding the benefit approved by the Penn Township Supervisors for the Wright family, air quotes, on December 5th, that was to be held here at the municipal building. And of all the supervisors, are you all familiar with the event I'm referencing? Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
And Mr. Holman?
Yes.
Fantastic. Being familiar with the event that you are, were you aware prior to December 5th that a Wright family could not be located nor identified. Mr. McGuire, were you aware of that? That we could not identify nor locate the Wright family?
When was December 5th?
That was a
The first
Saturday.
Saturday of the month.
I don't remember when.
Okay, Mr. Peters
Yes.
and Mr. Holman.
To answer your question, I'm gonna put it in proper frame. When we approved to
I'm
give
sorry,
them
it
the
was a
room, it
yes,
was only
no.
the room. Let me answer.
Please.
I did not know at that time, but shortly after that, yes, I did. But
Okay.
the time that we okayed the room, nobody on the outside or anybody else out here knew that that problem existed.
Okay.
And I'm gonna answer that at that time. Later on, yes, I did.
Thank you. Great. Were you aware on December 4th, which would have been Friday, not a single verifiable fact could be provided by the organizer, Ms. Shelby Weigel, despite a questioning from the community and ultimately your own Parks and Rec Chair, Karen Tilkins, who can't be here tonight, and Township Supervisor, Mr. Peters. That would have been Friday, December 5th. Were you aware, Mr. McGuire, that not a single verifiable fact could be provided? Were you aware?
I seem to remember that there was nobody that was able to get in touch with Ms. Wright.
Okay, and Mr. Peters, were you aware, sir?
Yes.
Mr. Holman, on December 4th, Friday, were you aware?
I'm not gonna say whether it's that Friday, but I spent hours in here with this trying to verify the very same thing that you're asking in
Okay.
here. And yes, no, you could not come up with anything. We contacted those people. The phone calls were made, Helen was in there, and I was aware that there was a problem at that point.
Okay, thank you. Did you know that despite Ms. Weigel's claim that the father of the house, Mr. Wright, was in the Lehigh Valley Burn Center due to injuries sustained in this house fire, there was not a single patient by the name of Mr. Wright in that hospital or any regional burn center in the East Coast? Mr. Peters, did you know that?
Later I found that information.
On December 4th?
Yes.
Right. Mr. Holman, were you aware?
Yes, that came to light that we couldn't find them, yes.
Okay,
that's
and Mr.
correct.
McGuire, were you aware,
I
sir?
became aware, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I don't remember
Okay.
the exact date.
And what about for the three of you again? The fact that the photos they provided of the house fire, Ms. Shelby Weigel provided them, were in all actuality pictures of a house fire from Seattle, Washington. Mr. McGuire, were you aware of that fact?
I saw a sheet of paper that indicated that. I don't know how verifiable that sheet of paper is.
Okay, and Mr. Peters, were you aware, sir?
Yes.
And Mr. Holman, sir?
Yes.
On the 4th, on Friday, December 4th,
I'm
okay.
not saying exact date, but I was aware of all
No
what
reason to
you're
get
talking about.
specific. And there's of course the fact that the Red Cross graciously did the national search for me to cross-check the Wright family information, and they found no Wright family in the entire country has ever suffered a complete structure fire and loss, such as the one described by the organizer, Shelby Weigel. Now, you are aware of this much, I think it's safe to say, by your own admittance, by December 4th, Friday. And you were all aware of this and much, much more as well. Chief Pickles, you are very well aware. I personally kept you in the loop, as my colleagues and I worked to discover new information about this fraudulent event. Now, I came out tonight because it's unfortunate that our police department was unable to follow up on this case. The Pennsylvania State Police had no challenges investigating, subsequently arresting Miss Weigel. It was on the news. I'm sure you might have even seen me quite a few times. They remain as confounded as I am about Penn Township, both the supervisors and police department's inability to take any action on this. This all leads to the big question, and I'd really like to ask you, Mr. Holman, directly. With all of this information on hand, first, you know what, before I ask this, Helen,
Yes.
I'd like to ask what was in the envelope left on the door?
It was a note that she asked me to put on the door,
Okay.
just asking Shelby to call her. There was no key in there.
And that's funny because I didn't say a key.
Oh,
No,
but
but-
somebody did.
Oh,
We
you
have
did?
already
Yeah.
been
Oh,
appraised
pardon
that
me.
that was
Fantastic.
a claim that was made.
It was a claim. It was a claim that was made on Facebook, which
Well,
I'm sure, Mr. Holman, you have screenshots of my personal Facebook page. So, with all of this information, pardon me, I'm going to go ahead and finish.
Oh, just answer
So-
that. What'd you
No,
say?
no.
I didn't catch it.
With that, I'll get to it. I promise you that. So, with all of this information on hand, there was no Wright family. The Red Cross confirmed there was no anything, and yet still, Mr. Holman, you knew full well there was red flags aplenty, as did Chief Pickles. You knew all roads pointed to a fraudulent event. You knew full well all of this information, and despite this, despite having enough information to fill a binder, and with our very own Chief of Police in the loop, and himself stating he intended to investigate. It wasn't until you caught wind of the fact that others were involved. Myself, you believed Craig Naves to be involved, you knew Mr. Peters was helping me discover information, that you took a personal agenda against it and you took a stand. And shamefully, that stand that you chose to take was the wrong one. It was the one that was driven by your personal feelings of self-righteousness and self-importance. That decision to let this event continue, because it was never officially canceled by Penn Township, was not made with our community in mind, sir. It was made to suit your own personal agenda, and of that I have zero doubt. If you had a shred of concern for this community, you would have joined with me, with Brian Peters, and with all of the other voices calling out for it to be canceled, but you did not. Instead, an envelope was left taped to the door, to the front door of this building. Whether the fact that there was a key in there, or there was a letter asking her to call, remains to be seen. However, I've spoken to numerous folks involved at the township level who have confirmed to me it was in fact a key. I'm not calling you a liar, Helen. I'm saying these are people that I trust. So
It absolutely was not a key. I put that envelope on the door. There was not a key in there.
Again?
We would not do that.
I said, I did not call anyone a liar. I'm stating the facts of
Sounds
what I
that
was
way.
told.
It sounds that way.
I'm sorry, you took it personally. I
Yes,
want you to
because
tell me
I
that
put
was
the
not the
envelope
case.
on the door
But enough
without
people,
a
Mr.
key.
Holman, trustworthy people have told me otherwise, and I'm far more inclined to believe them than you. Thankfully, my team and I put on enough of a fight on social media that Shelby didn't dare show her face on the morning of December 5th. You might have seen it on the news at Time or 7, but I hosted an event that morning. An event to keep the positive momentum going, to remind our community there was still a lot of good out there.
So what's your point?
My point is
Get
that
to the point.
my point is that I wasted 40 minutes of my life listening to Mr. Holman go on about his cancer scare rumor, so I'll be damned well, people are going to let me finish.
I'm going to respond to that.
My event that I hosted continued a positive momentum to remind our community there was still a lot of good here and a reason to continue trusting people. Our bazaar put people put together in less than 5 days. It was a full house. We ran out of room inside and in the parking lot. And you know what? I raised more than $1,100 to benefit children in need in this community. We almost didn't see that money, Mr. Holman. More than one family with children in this area was almost without presents and almost went without. And frankly, it would have been in part because of you, sir. You were prepared to allow a scammer into our community, and you may as well have been partially passing the plate and handling it due to your inactions. It's shameful. If you have anything at all to say for yourself or your inactions regarding this situation, I'd love to hear it. Because frankly, this behavior is utterly reprehensible and inexcusable. You may have done a lot of good for our community in your day and time, but frankly that time is past, and I'm happy to see you go.
I will respond
Please.
to that, okay? Mr. Peters was in here with Helen and us. There was quite a conversation, a discussion. We had leased the room. If this lady was going to do something that was illegal, she was definitely, we had to make sure. And what if she would have been legit? Nobody, we only had facts, we only had people throwing stuff at us that with no documentation or no proof of it, absolutely. Mr. Peters is the one that said in here for you to take and have your event somewhere else because it was stated, it was on the internet, it was on the pages, Helen had it. We're going to use this room that we had leased. And we had no way or no right to take that room from that lady if she was going to do benefit. All we did was lease a room. There was nothing personal from us, and we all stood in here, Libby, Helen, and us, and discussed that, and Brian was there with us in regards to that. We could not or did not deny the use of that. If she had had an illegal event, she'd have been in big trouble. But the event wasn't here, and we did not do anything, by golly, to the information that we had. We did not violate her rights. What if she would have been legit? What if there would have been something to it?
What if?
And so all it was the key was never given to her. The offer, we didn't retract the key, did we, Brian? That's correct. We did not retract the key. We did not tell them that they couldn't be in here.
Why not?
Brian was there, and Brian here was there. And still, you had the right to go elsewhere, and you did. And I applaud you for what you done. But it don't fault us for making arrangements for someone to come in here with a plea that at first everybody thought was honest and whatnot. And Mr. Peters and Mr. Bryan and myself thought it was a good thing, and we okayed it, by golly, for them to have the room and waive the fee.
With the information we had that day.
That's right, with the information we had that day.
Is your oath not the health, safety, and welfare of the community?
You know, you can drag
You're
it
going
on.
to let people hand money over to scammers? Chief Pickles,
You
you
can
know
say
as
what
well
you
as
want
anybody,
to.
the Pennsylvania State Police just arrested her. This was a fraud
Okay.
through and through, and there was binders of information and evidence, sir.
But
Once it's investigated.
the
You need
supervisors
probable
have not
cause to do
received
that.
or
You don't need
seen
Facebook.
that
You need to
information.
investigate.
The Red
You
Cross,
can't
or
wrongfully
anything
go
else.
after somebody
We
unless
had to
you
go
have
on what
proof.
we were hearing and what,
Brian Peters, was there not more than enough information for you to recommend them cancel it? Did you not recommend personally to Mr. Holman that they cancel the event?
no, I did not.
I'm talking to Mr.
Oh,
Peters.
I'm sorry.
My recommendation was that we should look into the information. I presented it to the other two supervisors, along with Helen. Libby, were you there that morning?
No, she was home
No,
sick.
Karen was here. I presented the information. My statement after that was going to be, my statement was that we need to take this further to Chief Pickles. I contacted Chief Pickles with further information that I personally called Herndon Fire Company, up in, off of 147.
You and I made a number of phone calls to fire
Yes.
companies in that area.
And Herndon Fire Department confirmed that they had 75 fire calls, or 75 calls since the first of the year, and that the chief said that he definitely did not, this fire did not exist in their township. It did not exist within their jurisdiction.
And the
The
Red
only-
Cross themselves verified no fire like
Correct.
this took place in the country.
Okay, and then along with the information provided, was during the process of confirming that information with the chief up there in Herndon, that a picture was posted by Miss Shelby. The picture was posted of this fire, and then it came back that there's a software that you can use. I could take a picture of Max right now without a name. I could send it out, and within probably a few minutes or maybe an hour, I would get identification of who Max is because there's face recognition. You can do the same thing with photos. So apparently that recognition went out, it came back to determine that that fire actually took place in Seattle. So there was another step of fraud. One, the fire department couldn't confirm it, and number two, the Facebook picture was a fraud.
And why was this not enough, Mr. Holman?
Did you receive a fax or a text from Brian Peters telling you to take your event elsewhere?
I had a conversation with Mr. Peters where he encouraged me to
No,
do a
not
positive event.
conversation. He was over there in front of Helen, Libby, and myself, right in the office over here, when you text her, by golly, to say.
No, I didn't text her, I
Or
called her.
called her, you
I
called her, yeah, you called her.
I called her, I did not text
And
her.
asked, by golly, to take it elsewhere. And at that point, we didn't want it here. And we did not know exactly what the story was. If the lady that came here, she was in big trouble. And and she got in trouble anyhow over it. So the issue was, you were asked to take your show elsewhere, and that was part of a 3-member board of supervisors that all agreed to that.
I beg your pardon. This has nothing to do with where the event took place, sir. I wasn't even inclined to hold an event until Brian Peters and I spoke, and he asked me to take this on, which I gladly did. My question for you, the only one I came to ask, is why you did not cancel it. And my
Because
code
we
is-
made a motion
because
and a
it's personal
second
agenda.
to give that lady the room, and it never got rescinded, and it didn't go back through the legal process to do that.
Anyone with a
There was a
modicum of
motion-
common sense could have looked at it and determined it
And
was a
this
fraud.
board unanimously.
Anyone that didn't have a personal agenda or some kind of hard-on for Brian
I'm
Peters
sorry, you
would
got a
have seen
personal
it.
agenda, Ron, and I'm sorry that you got a personal agenda too, because that's what
please
you're
put it on
saying.
all of them. I'm so happy to see you go.
Okay.
Mr. Holman, you know what?
Yeah.
By all means, have a wonderful.
Yeah.
Can you just say,
Yeah.
hold on,
Miss
Lisa?
Of course you don't want to hear it. Nothing.
May
I just say one thing?
You may speak, Libby.
She kept saying that she was turning a negative into a positive.
Wait a minute, come on, have a little quiet.
Ms. Landis said that she was turning a negative into a positive, and that is a good thing. However, if she truly wanted to do something for the children, it would have already been planned. She wouldn't have done it as a result of this. That's all I have to say.
I'd like to say one thing about that envelope on the door. I have done that for other people who have rented the room and have not come to pick up the key to the building. I always put in please contact my personal phone number, because I only live 5 minutes away, and I could come in and give them the key. Normally, they cancel it for some reason, and they just never called to cancel it. So I've done this more than once, it wasn't unusual, and I told these gentlemen I was gonna do it anyway.
And everybody that's sitting here with this board, and you two ladies here was in the room over there, knew that the supervisors had agreed not to tell her she couldn't have the room because there was a motion made for it and et cetera. Let them move the event elsewhere, and that's exactly what was done.
I wasn't there, Karen told
Okay,
me.
Karen
Okay,
was.
you weren't, but Helen was there.
Yes, I was there.
Okay. Next, Helen?
What a waste of time.
Miss, Nate, Craig.
Good evening. Two quick items on the EMS behalf. The first is, as we've been back and forth for 13 months, Henry, with your request, one of the items that was a sticking point was payroll data, and you wanted a list of personnel and their earnings. We indicated to you months ago that we were not providing personal payroll information, and instead I've put together for your review the formulas that we use to compensate our personnel that are not volunteers, and we basically have 3 positions that are part-time employees, and then we've got 3 full-time positions, a business coordinator and then 2 operations supervisors that actually basically run our non-emergency service. So the first page is the formula on how we get to their hourly rates. Base rates are $8, $9, and $10 an hour. The salaries are $27,000, $27,000, and $32,000. Page 2 actually breaks down the list of the employees that are part-time. The 3 full-time employees are at the bottom, and it gives the hourly rates and then the salary rates, but does not give the identifiable personal employee information.
I appreciate that, Craig, but nevertheless, I think there were 16 questions, and I never got an answer to them directly, individually. And some of those concerns that I have out there is the gift cards and et cetera, whether that's township money and et cetera. You know, there was an awful lot of things in that report that I passed on to you that I would sure like to see you answer. One-on-one, a direct answer to each and every question. I've never got that.
You have not.
No.
The majority of that data, with the exception of this and some other very minor items, were included in the report that you received in March. As I indicated, because it wasn't in the form that you requested, we didn't take the time to put that all back together because it was very detailed information that you requested, and frankly, it wasn't worth the time for what you were requesting. It was never answered specifically either if it was a personal request or a township request.
It was a township request, and even Mr. Peters verified that. It happened at the township board, by golly, it was a township request.
At any rate, the data's been provided, and the payroll information's been
So that
provided.
was a township
And
request.
part 2 of that, sir, is that as a result of there being no contribution of the budgeted amount for 2015, I believe you're aware that our subscription process goes out for the May 1 through April 30th term this coming spring, and we've offered for the last several years, actually at Mr. Wright's request, a discount for Penn Township residents, $10 discount per household or per individual on those subscriptions, and that was all contingent upon a contribution from the municipality. We have reported back every year on where the township funds have gone, where every cent that you've provided has gone. And I think there's also a letter you received a couple months ago indicating our several large line items for consideration of the request for an increase. So without that contribution, the discount for the township residents will be removed, obviously. We feel we'll be the only one to maintain that unless the borough decides to reopen their budget on Monday. The final item that I have, and this is on a personal front, and you may have already seen this, but this is an order from Judge Ken Mumaw from the Perry County Court of Common Pleas, and if you're not familiar with the right to know law, which it appears as though your township police chief and your former township solicitor are not very familiar with the right to know law, both the judge and I had to correct them several times in procedure and policy within the law. This is an order from the judge from November 19th, I believe. November 19th.
Yeah.
Finally, after 2 years and 14 days, releasing or ordering that the information that I requested November 5th of 2013 be released. Most of it was, there were numerous policies within the police general order manual that apparently don't exist. As supervisors, I would be very concerned of those policies. I've shared them with Mr. Landis coming in, and I think I already sent that to Mr. Peters as well. What Mr. McGuire, I'll be glad to forward it to you if you have email. But there are numerous policies that apparently don't exist, that your police department is operating without. That would be a great deal of concern if I were supervisor in this township, and it's certainly a great deal of concern for me as a member of Borough Council in Duncannon moving forward. That being said, we had a second hearing last Monday, the 21st of December, a continuance of this first hearing from which the order is on your table. And there were a couple items that were denied inappropriately. It was pretty clear in the right to know law, the exemptions and what they are. They were denied with a part of one of those exemptions, not the entire exemption. At the second, or the continuance of the hearing, only, and I'm not sure if he's a lieutenant, if he's a captain or assistant chief, but Mr. Carlson showed up. Your own policy only allows for a lieutenant, doesn't allow for a captain and an assistant chief. So I'm not sure where that came from, where those positions came from. I don't recall that taking place at a public meeting. I don't recall those promotions or any increase in pay taking place on the record. So he swore himself in both times as assistant chief of the Penn Township Police Department. And I also brought forth some concerns about your solicitors, or soon-to-be former solicitor statements on the record, on a recording at the October meeting. The minutes aren't quite reflective of what happened or what actually took place when I handed Helen the data that I was told to hand Helen to be provided by the police department. That wasn't included in the minutes. And Mr. Wagner indicated that did not happen. So, at any rate, that's all I have. Henry, I wish you well. I hope you enjoy this level of retirement from the township. And Mr. Landis, welcome to Penn Township. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next up.
Luke,
Nothing.
Lee. Mr. Fickle. Ed, you want to talk now?
I'm
wait.
here on behalf of the planning commission, so I'll wait till the planning commission line.
Okay, that's all I have. He's guarding.
Thank you. But now that you mentioned it.
Okay.
That's it?
Okay. Invoices and expenditures. Before you for rejection or approval or rejection.
Additional items other than the normal expenses. We paid Sylvester's for the fall cleanup. We made a workers' comp payment, the second one of 4. We paid for the police systems, their support and their annual support and backup fee for their systems. We paid for the new police vehicle. There was an ad for the open highway position. We had to pay for the treasurer's bond and updates to the new police vehicle and extra radios.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
I can make a motion, but there'll need to be another motion. I make a motion.
Made a motion or a second. That's what we need.
I move that we pay the bills with the exception of bill number, check number 028976 to Ratu Associates because I'm employed by Ratu.
Okay, motion been made. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Discussion. There's bills made in here that I'm gonna take exception with and bring it to light. One of them is, it happened without my knowledge, was done, I knew it was going to take place, but there was not too much forethought put in it. The bill for $1,169 to advertise for road employees, extravagant, uncalled for. It never happened, by golly, when I was involved with it.
That's for 3
That
days.
bill's made,
Mm-hmm.
the bill needs to be paid. I just wanna make it a matter of record
Mm-hmm.
that there's other ways to advertise that without spending that kind of money.
Have we always advertised in the paper news?
No, sometimes it's been excluded.
Okay, has the Patriot News always been as detailed as it is? Was that à la carte, where you could choose
Oh,
different
no,
levels?
no, I've already tried that way.
So it's not à la carte?
No, you pay
Okay.
for the days you put in the paper. In this case, it's 3 days, a Sunday, a Thursday, and a Friday, Tuesday and a Thursday. You get it on Penn Live,
Right.
and they charge for each of those.
Okay, so you couldn't à la carte that?
No, I've
So
tried that
when you pay
before.
one bill, you pay it all?
You pay it all.
If you say you want an ad, you paid in all 4 of those areas?
Yeah, and it's a job section they have.
And when you came to knowledge of that expense, did you contact any other supervisors and said, hey, this FYI? Did you contact either 3 of us supervisors?
Well, as soon as I got the bill, Henry walked in the door and I told him about it. I
Okay.
told you as soon as I saw you.
Today?
Yes.
Okay.
And I found out about the bill yesterday.
So you don't get when you place the ad and you don't get a
When-
receipt?
I got the receipt yesterday.
You don't give your receipt then?
No, I email it in, and then they'll put it in and get it going, and then they send me the bill.
So you weren't aware of the fees that were attached?
And not
to it?
until I receive the bill.
I have no objection to seeing this bill paid. I only bring it to your attention that in the past, we know what those costs are. We know they're extravagant. We know from past experience that
Yes.
when you deal with the Patriot News,
It's
under those
expensive.
Okay,
circumstances.
did you bring that to my knowledge when,
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, I did not.
all right.
And truthfully, I did not expect it this high.
So, Mr. McGuire, did you have knowledge of the expense of this prior or now? History?
Well, I heard about it right now tonight.
Okay,
Not
but you
before
have,
then.
but you know history that it costs us much to go through the Patriot News?
I did not know that.
You did not know that? Okay.
Well, I believe, Brian, that you may have known that it's expensive, I mean, not necessarily how much each time.
I did not know how much.
Yes.
I know, obviously, it's more expensive than Duncan
Yeah.
Record.
Okay.
We've always tried to work it around, that we
The
got
record.
things locally and in the record and et cetera. So, that being made, I wanted to bring that attention, so in the future, everybody understands that. I make the motion's been made and a second, end of my discussion, calling for the vote. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Well, hang on a second, there's still
The
discussion.
ayes have it.
There's no discussion?
The motion was made, there was discussion on it.
Okay.
The discussion was, Brian, not to object the bill, only to make it a matter of record that the information is here for Mr. Landis's sake, that he knows.
So is
and
it safe
for-
to say then, Helen, if Brian was supposed to contact you like was originally agreed upon, Mr. McGuire agreed that he was going to make contact with you that Monday, he would have made the same mistake, correct?
It's possible. I
Okay.
would have asked him the same question I asked
Okay,
you.
what did you ask me?
Where
did
do
you
you
want-
want it?
Okay, did
What-
you inform me that the Patriot was expensive at that time?
I may not have said it was expensive. I may not have. I don't,
You did not.
okay, I
Okay,
agree
you
with
did
that.
not. I just want to make it
Yes.
very clear.
Yes.
When the decision was made, it was made to advertise for a position,
Mm-hmm.
but the expense was never made aware. Because then it could have been changed and the
Yeah.
decision would have been made, well, that's too much money for what we're advertising for.
Mm-hmm.
There's other avenues we could have taken to probably get the same results. Or close to it.
Close to it, I would agree
Yes.
to that statement.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I just wanted to make clear.
Yeah.
End of
In
discussion.
Helen's defense, I would like to add that at least 8 years ago, it was common knowledge that advertising for anything in the Patriot News was far more expensive than advertising locally, whether it was the Duncannon Record, Newport Sun, whatever, Carlisle Sentinel even. That was common knowledge at least 8 years ago. Perhaps people weren't paying attention.
Well, Cece, in regard to this, I'll take some of the fault because I should have been the one that made the arrangements, put the advertisement in and et cetera as chairman. But I tried to pass some things on and this is what happened. So I'll take full responsibility for this.
Most times when you
And
do that,
I'm sorry that it happened, but the knowledge is here now. The knowledge is here now. And you know that you try not to do that. You experienced that, we all did.
Can't plead
Okay.
ignorance twice.
Okay, bills are approved.
Except
Motion was
for,
made with a second, except for Brian.
okay, well, we didn't get all ayes or nays or whatever.
Okay. The motion was made with a second, and I called for the vote.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's the vote we didn't get
Okay,
yet.
all those in favor, one more time, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay.
Okay, now, the two bill. He can't make he's abstaining from
Okay,
that.
Yes, okay.
We make the motion to pay the Ritu bill.
Okay, motion made, I'll second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Have it so ordered, okay. Treasurer's report.
Quick question, what'd you advertise for?
Highway Department operator. Yes. And it wasn't just in there, it's also in the record, it's on the cable, it's now on our webpage front.
PSATs.
PSATs,
Did you
yeah.
have pictures?
No, I didn't take a picture of him to show what we wanted.
Who wrote the ad?
It was a draft ad that I showed, I don't think Brian got a chance to, but both Mr. Peters and Henry also approved the ad.
So you wrote it initially?
I wrote it initially.
Okay.
I normally write them initially.
Yes, okay. Treasurer's report?
We received a earned income tax payment from Cap Tax. There's 2 months included in this report. And we also received from the state police the fines payment that we receive every year.
Nothing else to add, Libby?
No.
Do I hear a motion to approve the treasurer's report subject to audit?
I make that motion.
Motion's been made, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made with second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. CD?
Yes, Park and Rec has a CD maturing January 10th. It's currently invested at Mifflintown Bank as a municipal easy access CD. They would like to invest this as the CD special that's being offered currently at Landisburg Bank for 35 months at 1.5%.
Okay. What is the wish of the board? I make a motion that we concur with the rec board's request for the depository of that CD.
I second the motion.
Okay, second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Yeah, the minutes before you for November the 18th and December the 8th, 2015. Wish to vote on them separately or collectively. Before the board for approval or rejection.
I move we approve the minutes of the November 18th, 2015 meeting, as well as the minutes of the December 8th, 2015 meeting.
A motion made, do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion made with a second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Highway report, okay, I have a report here that I'd like to forward on and ask Libby to pay particular attention for this. You know, some of this is being incorporated in the minutes, et cetera, most all of it. I took a hard look at everything that I know out here, trying to get prepared for a turnover, proper turnover to the township, or to the new supervisors and to the new board. One of my concerns that I have out here that we're often so faced with is we have so many township roads that come to a dead end. And there's no place to go but on the property, private property. Not everybody knows those roads. Since I was 76, I started getting documented where they were, where they end, and where you can turn. Some people are relatively easy about turning around in their place and some aren't. When you do the slightest amount of damage, you can bet you're going to hear about it, and that can't often be done. Some of the roads that you have, if you have to get out of them without getting on private property, you've got to back 3/8 of a mile. There's no place to go. The roads end right on people's property that are right at their lawn. I have 18 of them here that I'm going to leave a list for whoever takes over out here so that they know. The turnarounds in private property, I only know of 2 of them where there's been a easement made for the township to turn around at the end of, I only know of 2 of them, but there's 18 different areas in the one area, Penn Manor, all these lanes up here, is you plow in and back out, there's no place to turn around. And so I'm bringing that to attention for the sake of whoever the new drivers are and for the sake of the new supervisors, that they know that that is out there. Just trying to transfer some information over to everybody, that you don't get blindsided when you get on somebody's property. And it does happen. Some of them are, there is no place to go. You either back in and plow out or plow in and back out. They're single, they're just narrow, little 10-foot roads that the township has responsibility for. You have highway reports. I have a list of things that I'm going to leave out here, plus some items on the grease board out there in the shed for everybody to take a look at. Projects left to do. There's 2 15-inch culverts on Allender Drive that we never got around to put in that area down there. That huge white oak tree down there, I tried to get some decent weather, but I will forward them to the township here if I get decent weather tomorrow. I'm going to take some pictures of it. There is a tree that's in the township right away. It's going to smash someone's house in soon. It's only about 4.5 foot across the stump. It needs to be taken a look at. I'm just bringing to your attention that there is really a problem there. It's rotten in the inside, and it sets on the township right away going in Allender Drive. The people there with the 2 15-inch culverts that Max was out and took a look at, and done the engineering on it, that he can get in. The pipe is out here. And I wanted to mention that tree is right there at the very same spot. Entrance to schoolhouse. One of those items down here due to weather and whatnot, and a lot of rain. Thank golly we've had warm weather, and it's rain and not sleet, and ice and snow like we had last year at this time. Last year it was cold. All the rain we got was just one ice storm after another. The rebar's in the garage out there for it. One more time, Marstellus will help with the concrete barriers down there to keep the trucks from turning it, and provide the concrete down there for whoever does that. But that road needs to be PA1 call put in, saw cut, removed to great depth, and put something back in there that's going to stay with the turning of those trucks down there. You need that. Number 4, I have culverts on Watts Drive need replaced. That was one of the items. This kind of weather, an individual, we could be working on that in this warm weather, or the roof out here, but it didn't happen. Culverts on Watts Drive, they all need replaced, and that's in preparation on looking ahead for paving of that road again, which has never been paved since about 1978. One coat of tar and chip on it since. And it served its purpose. That road was put in at that time. Roof on the township shed, the materials, all the tin, all the purlons and whatnot out there are in the shed out there. I had hoped to get them done last winter in the fall when we got off of the road, couldn't tar and chip. But we fought snow and sleet and rain all last winter, and we're really busy trying to keep the shed full and keeping the roads bare. Nevertheless, that material is bought, paid for out there for that half of the building out there. Okay? It's out there. Tom and us agreed that we could have got it done, but it didn't happen this year either. The building extension on the shed out there, the forms are put for it out there. I had done truss information for that out there to put that extension out over where the Uber sets out there, so that would be in dry. That would give you a nice lean-to, shut back to 274, and the other side over the fuel tank there would put all that in the dry. I'll leave with them that Charlie Smith's the one that's done our truck inspections. He's always worked with us. He's been very favorable. We don't need to take him up and drop him off. You call him in the morning, he says you're here at 7:30, we wait, and we're back. We don't need to drop the trucks off, although it's been our responsibility out here to make sure tie rod end, brakes, everything on it, they are inspectable when they go up. You don't need to wonder what's wrong with them. That is done before they go up there. The road crew has performed their duties out here admirably. I will tell you that maybe most people don't know it. These duties, as well as road maintenance, should be maintained, and somewhere along the line they're going to have to take a look how they're going to do it and what they're going to do with it. We maintain the building roofs on this building. Okay, I've worked on that rubber roof up there, we had leaks, we fixed them. There's a lot of life left on this roof up here, except with the seams. They open up, but the rubber's good. And I didn't see no cracking from weather or whatnot on the rubber roofer. A little bit of maintenance, last time we fixed it, we haven't had anything for a year now.
No.
Okay, and so, with myself and the crew out here, we've done all plumbing repairs in this building. Underneath the crawl space, the toilets, the faucets that they don't fix, the repairs and the water heater elements out in the rec shed out here, the people turn the heater on with no water in them, burn them out. We've replaced them many a times. There's a list of it. There are those that know where to turn this water off, where to drain it in the wintertime, and et cetera. Steve is well aware of that. He's the only one here since Tom's not with us anymore. But Steve is well aware of that. We've maintained and changed oil, filters, and took care of all the mowers here in the township. We've done that all on the road crews labor, on my nickel, on my budget out there, and that time's been donated to them, as well as the fuel out of my nickel and out of my budget that I had in the town shed up here for their fuel. And the diesel fuel for the mower gets more gallons used in a year than what one may believe. But nevertheless, we always try to work and help out the rec board as much as we can. The road crew, plus our other duties, we've weed whipped the steep bank out here and all these banks out here, all the steep stuff and that down over the hill. The road crew is taking care of that for the groundskeepers around here. When we got it, and we've been able to keep after it and try to keep the grounds looking pretty nice. All mechanical work and the welding on the equipment been done by us out here. And like I said, we readied all those trucks and et cetera out here that they're at. And the trucks and everything at the present time are sitting out there ready to go. I'll report on that. The highway report, we finished the shoulders on Linton Hill, repaired the shoulders on Faculty out here. We cleaned all the storm catch basins out, tried to bring them up to date. The settlement and stuff in them all over the township. Replaced the stop sign in Differendorfers down here that someone decided to make off with. Speed limit signs on Firehouse Road and children's signs were put up. Between the ditch and the pipe at Sawmill by Fernley's entrance there, which was filled up and sedimented in there to the point that that large pipe we put in there 2 years ago was just about absolutely clogged. We dug it back out, take a look at it. There's a little pond put in there with a pipe in it to carry the water. That catches the sediment, and it'll go for a while. You'll get a year, 2 years out of that, and you have to dip it back out. But as long as that's there, it doesn't wash in against and clog the pipe up. That washed out. We tried it as an experiment with a small pipe. Now we have a large pipe in there to carry the water. It works well and takes a lot less maintenance that way, keeping that ditch clear. We've got all trucks inspected, good repair, snow plows on all vehicles except the pickup, which is a quick hookup, and the 550, which we use to go out here and get limbs or et cetera, or clean catch basins out. That also has a quick hitch. The trucks are sitting out there. The heating oil tank I've had filled, topped off. The diesel fuel tank is full. All trucks are filled with fuel, 100%. I had a commercial coffee pot out there that I donated to the boys out there, and used it, but I didn't care to give it up, so I bought a new one and took that commercial one home. So they're not without a coffee pot out there. And I filled up with coffee for them out there. John Deere's hood that we done out there on the lawnmower out there was $300 some for a new hood. We fixed it up, we fiberglassed it, we put it back in, painted it, sanded it down. Big savings on it, done that on a rainy day. So that lawnmower now looks pretty decent out there again. The budget has been prepared for the 2016 paving. If the board wishes to continue on, the road prep work in this kind of weather could be started on this to get a head start on it on Faculty on Barrick Drive. Halfway down over the hill on Faculty, we've had numerous complaints. Helen's got down, I've been out and took a look at it. There is a culvert pipe out there in the head wall that needs to be put on in the entrance of that road. It's a long time thing, it's been there. It wouldn't be allowed today if it's done. But the township has a little responsibility there if they're gonna pave that road to fix that driveway up there and that entrance for those people out there. It is a pretty nasty area. Steve's familiar with where it is and et cetera, although Steve would not be one to, there's some engineering and whatnot there that would be beyond his capability, but he knows exactly where that is. I have on here for information, the next road that should be paved or topped would be Watts Drive back there. You could either use the FB3 or the super pave on it. Needs some grading back there and whatnot, but that road is one of the oldest ones around that has been paved since I took office in '76. About '78 it was paved. It's still in pretty decent shape. It's been maintained. Watts Drive is the smallest section. You wouldn't spend much money on that, and that's what you need to do every so often, is to pave this out here. You'll have a lot of money left over liquid fuels. Do that the second year, and the third year, sawmill, which is extensive, going up over the hill and the church back there for a longer period of time. There should be enough money in liquid fuels to pay for that road. We wouldn't need to borrow money. There'd be no reason why it can't be done. That's a 3-year project looking ahead unless the board spends the liquid fuels money on other items. Our new truck's supposed to be here at the end of January, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, that's what they're saying. And since we're without anybody out here, there'll only be Steve when we come Monday. I will leave on the grease board out there, and this board can do with it whatever they want. A list of things that Steve can do by himself until you get direction or someone out there to tell him what to do. As of Monday, we only have 1 employee out there. So if the board wishes to change that, they can do that Monday, but Steve will come in Monday morning and want something to do. So if nobody objects, I've got a list of things that Steve could do by himself. I'll put them on the grease board out there and list them. And like I said, I only offer that to try to keep him busy. I would like to put on closing out there, you know, the tools and equipment that I used to offset the cost in the township that we hear so often about. The tools and equipment I used in the township to offset cost was the experience that I had at 38 years in the construction business. And I made every move count. I was efficient, I planned my work, and the guys always had something to do out here. We cut costs on fuel in the shed, we cut cost, expenses, maintenance on our equipment, which we didn't have. Those were the tools and the equipment that I brought into the township, cost savings, that turned things around out here that we didn't need to spend so much money. Nothing else. There was very, very little of my own personal equipment that I used. I did do it occasionally, but nothing that ever made no magnitude of anything else like that. My knowledge for the township was given to them as a conservative, coordination, and productivity. That's key. There's never a day out here, regardless of whether it rains, I'm not calling for it or whatnot, that I didn't have something for the guys to do. I hope that continues out here. And that's one thing, and of course, you know, Glenn has brought it up there. I want everybody to know my health is in very good condition according to my doctor. I plan on being around for a while. And the rumors that were spread about that, yes, they were put out there and I made a big deal of it. But those rumors reached my minister clear up in Jersey Shore, Lycoming County, that I was dying of cancer. And believe me, I didn't need to threaten nobody for him to tell me who made that phone call. They were glad to tell me who did it. So, my health is excellent. I am not retiring. I've had 3 job offers and I'm looking elsewhere. And I'm going to keep myself busy. I have keys. I will turn my keys in. I told Helen I have keys to the shed out there. There was 3 keys to the shed out there. 2 employees and myself. When I came here, there was keys. There was no security in that place out there. It was a fiasco. 3 keys. I don't care what they do with it in the future. I had one. Tom had one. Steve still has one. Tom's coming up tomorrow to turn his in and his cell phone. I will be dropping my keys in. My term runs till midnight Sunday. I will be turning my keys in the box back here on Sunday evening, Helen.
Okay.
I have a key to the shed, to the back door, the front door, the township office. I have no keys to any of the police buildings or their sheds out there. Don't belong, shouldn't be, and I don't believe that any individual should have that in there to the information that's available in there. So I will be turning my keys in Sunday on that. I would like to, I got an awful lot of things, yes, Mrs. Landis was right, there's an awful lot of people come at me lately. And a lot of them are just about as mad at me for leaving as there are those that's glad that I'm leaving. And I've had one person in particular that asked me to put one thing out on the floor, and I've constantly been blamed for not allowing the development on the Cove Mountain. If that plan would have been fulfilled by law, I'd had to sign it. I've never done anything to inhibit that. What everybody don't know, or what did happen, was that developer sued me and the Ellenbergers for our farms. And they made no bones about, we will sue you, we will take it, and the threats that came at us as township residents from a what I call a special interest people. And why did they want it so bad? And they offered big money to the Ellenbergers. We talked it over with their family. They offered me 2.7 when I said I wouldn't sell. They said they'll sue me and we will get satisfaction in suing me. And believe me, they did. They cost me a lot of money in the courts of Berry County. They got me through that. And why did they want that farm and the Ellenbergers so bad? Storage next to the Ellenbergers at St. John's Road on Susquehanna Hills. And if they could purchase that and that farm and put the leverage on the ground that I have back there, they had a complete swath on that side of the mountain, clear back to Barnett Drive. That's what they were after, folks. That is the truth as I know it. And that was what they after. That ground joined on the far side of my ground in Evan White's and joined the Ellenbergers on the other side. And we're in the middle of what they wanted. They weren't so much interested in that Rocky Mountain down in Perdix and down through there as everybody thought. They wanted two farms that had all the access for easy development and whatnot. And believe me, they played hardball with us. So those special interest things, I hope that this board's never faced with that. They're hard to stay away from. And these people that have that agenda, they have no hesitancy, by golly, to do what they want to against other people. That is what happened. I was asked, by golly, 3 times in the last week to give that report because I kept my mouth shut about what happened down there and left it alone. That's all I have to offer on that. I do have, I'd like to say that I've done my best here in the years out here. Not everybody is suits everybody else's needs. I appreciate and I sure like donating the time that I had. Although I did receive some compensation for it to run the show according to agreement from 2010 when Randy quit. I've got a record of road paving out here, which I'd like to see matched by somebody else on a yearly basis. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that go on. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of coordination. I will add that I saved an awful lot of engineering costs. Max isn't going to want to hear that. We don't do our road bids through them. We did our road bids through in-house here, saved an awful lot of money. And you can't blame Max if he takes money for it, if the township supervisors put it in hand and say prepare the road bid. But we did that on our own to save a tremendous amount of money. There was articles out, there was issues out here, bollards, retaining walls and whatnot that I done without the engineering in the township because it's something that I done that I was familiar with. Those are the tools and equipment that I gave in this township to make things conservative and to save money. The heating unit out there used to be terrible, the oil burnt in this, out here. The guys now turn the furnace down. They know to turn the water heater off over the weekend. They come in, they still got hot water there in it, but it don't need a run when it's not used in the bathroom. Some of those conservative measures out there go a long ways on, they're a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. At the end of the year, they become big dollars. So I'm proud that I took that conservative issue for the township that benefited the residents and whatnot. And that's the best that I can do for it. And I thank all of those that supported me. And I have no animosity towards anybody that expressed ill will towards me, like went out the door tonight. That was highly disappointing for me to see that. And Helen, Libby, you did not deserve, by golly, that outburst tonight. You were totally innocent of that.
I want to apologize to everybody for my outburst. I shouldn't have said anything, but
That was totally uncalled for.
when it's directed to me,
It was, so, no personal animosities here by me. If I can help, if I can forward any information, anybody calls me, I'll give whatever I can. And I just want to make a complete, easy turnover out here. I've offered since September to meet with whoever wants to see the shed, the tools, the equipment out there. There's an awful lot of stuff out there to learn how to run. That you just don't crawl on and do it. So, Mr. Landis, we got a couple days. If you'd like to see the shed and whatnot, I'll offer that extension to you out there. You give me a call, I'll make myself available, even including Saturday and Sunday. Okay?
See what my schedule looks like, hopefully take you up.
Okay? That's available to anybody out here. That's all I have on the highway report, and next on the agenda is the Penn Township Planning Commission.
Henry, before you go any further, I just want to request something.
Yes,
I think if we could get Hickory Drive on the agenda in the spring to get potholes fixed on that. That road is terrible. We use that all the time because it's easier to see than, you know, coming out Faculty, we go out the other end. But that's a miserable road, and it's very difficult to traverse without hitting something. And Lee was nice enough to let everybody park down at his place when we were paving Faculty, and I think he deserves a better road to get
Okay.
into there.
I will tell you that yes, there is some potholes out there that we don't really get around with the tar and chip this year. If you were to take a look at the amount of oil we burnt this year, what we were able to get done, it was very, very small due to the weather and getting Linton Hill done. Everybody on Linton Hill out there was very thankful and thanked us out there for that new road that they got out there. Yes, we took it right on up until we burnt the last bit of oil out of the barrel out here, because you can't let it sit there for the winter. And we did the priorities as best we could. Those things there, if someone picks up the space, you can get that patched out there and you can get that. That is a road there that you're talking about, a small road that I usually try to do with a big road, a small piece of road with it on the contract. It's not a whole bunch more money. They could easily throw that in with, if they wanted to do that on the bid. It only take them a couple minutes to measure, figure out the tonnage on it. They could throw that in with that or the watch drive. I don't disagree with you. I will tell you up there by the firehouse and whatnot, the road was salt cut up there many years ago for that culvert to be replaced. And I can show you other roads out here in the township that was salt cut before I came back into office in 2004 that are still laying there salt cut, that there was plans for those culverts to be replaced. One of them is on Faculty Road out there. And that one by Mr. is a very difficult one with the bank out there. It's way too narrow. You're going to have to dig it sideways with the hose. You can't, you're going to have to widen that out to about 10 foot to dig it. Steve was aware of that. I talked to Mr. Samples about that being done. There's, and the things that you run into with that is there's a culvert drainage across there, and Mr. Samples runs his irrigation pipe through that storm drain. Okay. The mower come along a couple times and tore it up. I told Mr. Samples that if and when, and the offer still stands, that the township, if they dig that up back there, I will give them the carrier pipe to put across there that you could run his thing through it, be no cost, and it wouldn't be nothing by golly abnormal. That way the township wouldn't be doing something for an individual that out there. So that offers out there. I have that pipe at home, and they can put a piece of carrier pipe there for him to run his irrigation across there, and it would really be a benefit to him and a help the township if that was done. That's all I have underneath the highway report. Penn Township Planning Commission, Howard.
Ed, you wanna talk first?
Yes, I have a brief statement for the supervisors that the planning commission asked me as the chairman to approach the board with a few comments before the end of the year. Number one, thank you for your support. The whole Board of Supervisors has supported the Planning Commission in everything we tried to do. Number one, I'll give you an example, to cut down on engineering costs to the township residents. Board of Supervisors went along with the Planning Commission forming a checklist where we only had what aspects we felt needed to be reviewed by the township engineer included instead of the whole plan. Board of Supervisors went along with that. That saved a lot of money for the township residents. Didn't do Max's bottom line a lot of good, but I think he'll make it. We also, more recently, appreciate the board's cooperation in Randy Mladenov's plan and the resolution of the problem at the end of Brook Road, which I hope is resolved. I hope all the things that were requested of the people involved have been met, but that was a very, very complicated and emotional situation that if the Board of Supervisors had not stood behind the Planning Commission, would still be going on. And we appreciate that a lot. In regards to Chairman Hallman's leaving as a supervisor and even bigger impact almost to the Planning Commission road crew supervisor. I can tell you that his input was invaluable to the Planning Commission in all of the driveway situations that we encountered in the Planning Commission as we went through the different plans. There's one or two situations I'd like to particularly point out where Mr. Hallman was invaluable, and that is on the Fishing Creek plan on the Beers Farm. While I did not think much of their road design, I didn't understand how truly terrible it was. Mr. Hallman turned down, or the supervisor turned down the acceptance of that design, much to your congratulations. All you have to do is take a few minutes when the next time you go down 11 and 15. Make a right at the Marysville Diner. As soon as you get back up in there, you'll be on Ridgeview Drive. Make a left. Go up around and see what we would have here if Mr. Hallman hadn't pointed out what we were getting. I mean, I know it was bad, but I didn't know it was as bad as it is. And you go up there and look at that, that is a disaster. I don't know why Marysville allowed it. That's not the point. The point is that he helped prevent it here. We'd like to thank you very much for that, because the Planning Commission did not have a handle on how truly involved and labor intensive it would have been on the Township's part to take over a road designed in that fashion. I could go on and on and on. I won't. Our job, my point in coming tonight was to represent the planning commission, to thank all of you for your support, and in particular, Mr. Holman's help with all the driveway and road issues, and many other things too, that he provided to the planning commission, that I'm not gonna bother going over and over with. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. You know, it's a compliment, whatever takes place here in regard to this out here, I'm not opposed to that development out here. But you are correct, I drove up, it is the same design, it was on that plan out there that everybody took a look at with the gutter and the gully and the driveways across. Beautiful homes up there with something that just don't make any sense. It's gonna be a big burden and an expensive impact, not only to residents, but to Murraysville Borough.
Well, they weren't stopped by the refusal to accept the driveways. They still had the option of a possible homeowners association maintaining it.
That's correct.
But I absolutely could tell you that I did not realize how difficult that would have been until I actually saw it in person. Mr. Holman pointed out how bad it was going to be, and it made sense to me what he had to say. And the rest of the planning commission members all agreed. But I'd just like to let the people here tonight know, if they want to see what that would have looked like, stop down there and take a look. It's a beautiful piece of property, if you like your mountains cut up like that, but those driveways are just, they're a nightmare.
And the gutter runs right along the road, the maintenance. That's
Yeah,
my big
well,
question.
maintenance, and
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, if we had allowed that, we would have had some kind of culpability with kids, people falling in, driving in, getting hurt there. I thank all the supervisors very much,
Thank you, Ed.
and look forward to working with Mr. Landis in the same tone.
Thank you.
Okay, Randy Mladenoff, final subdivision plan?
Yeah.
Finally final.
Well,
Okay?
just heads up, if something happens and not everyone is happy and we have to table it, we'll have to get another time extension tonight.
Joe, you don't need to make
We don't
a
wanna
big
do that.
review for me.
No, we do
because
not.
I looked it over and read everything that's there, presented to the other two supervisors, because I'm satisfied.
Good, good.
Mr. Benner, are you satisfied? Smith satisfied? Randy? Thank you.
I live in black and white that are satisfied.
They were black and white, yes.
No, I like those.
Finals?
Those are the final signs.
Good.
Yeah, we have to get a motion. Yeah.
Yes, I went through it.
I may have missed something, Max, but I thought everything was there.
Well, I haven't seen it, so.
And then we did get the DEP approval
Yeah,
today.
DEP approval came here a couple of days ago. I
I
have a
think they
copy.
met
Yeah.
all the conditions that the planning commission wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we added the easement for Mr. Benner and we
Survey
did.
signed, survey signed, waiver approved, easement make, yep, it's all there.
Just need to get a motion. That's all.
Everybody's happy with it.
Oh, yeah, I reviewed it, it's.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the final plan?
AOR's first.
Okay, Helen, yeah, subject.
Okay, you have
Understand that.
306 for preliminary plat, 309 AA for plan scale, 309 A7 map scale, 401 A5 private right-of-way for greater than 3 dwellings, 401 A5 private right-of-way construction standards, and that's all the AORs. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 AORs.
Okay.
And the private right-of-way AOR is for only 4 existing dwellings
Do I
on
hear a
that road.
motion to accept the AORs?
We need to do them one at a time.
Fun, if you want to, or collectively. Make it easy on yourself.
Okay, I move that we approve the alteration requirements for section 306 preliminary plat procedure, section 309.A.A plan scale, section 309.A.7 map scale, section 401.A.5 private right-of-way for greater than 3 dwellings, and section 401.A.5 private right-of-way construction standards.
Okay? Need a motion and a second.
I second.
Okay, motion made and second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, the AORs are accepted.
Okay, now the plan itself.
Okay, now, do I hear a motion to accept the final plan for the Randy Mladenoff subdivision plan?
I move that we approve the Randy L. and Julie A. Mladenoff final subdivision plan, file number 2015-05, subject to the following conditions. I need to read them?
Fees. That's it, the fees.
The fees.
Those are done.
Okay,
Subject to all fees being paid.
subject to all fees being paid.
You agree to these conditions?
We certainly do.
Okay. Well, you're done. Motion been made, do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion made with a second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, can I ask if we could jump into the Chicky Chop?
That's, well, it's
I mean, I can
either,
back off.
you wanna do Chicky Chop or the school district first? It's your choice.
Pardon?
Chippy Chop or school district?
I have the Chippy Chop, so.
Yeah, the chippy chop. Yeah, do
You
that.
okay with that?
While you're on the floor.
Right.
Okay.
Huh?
That's a DEP. Where's my pen?
How, easement, the road maintenance, we need to prove that, is that included?
For
The
the,
Mladenoff plan?
no, that's theirs. That was just for you,
It's a
and I can see they
private-
agree.
That's a private matter.
That's a private matter, yeah.
Sound.
They all signed that. You're gonna
Yes,
record that.
I'm gonna record that.
And Helen,
Yeah,
can we all get copies? of
I
that?
can do that.
Okay. This is property situated up over on Linton Hill Road.
Oh, this
I
Chippy
have a
Chop.
full size here if you wanna see it.
There's Chippy Chop.
Very simple plan.
Chippy Chop.
Probably recognize it. We were here probably about a year or two, actually beginning this year. Time flies. Mr. Wolf.
No, I just got
This is
mine.
274, this is Linton Hill Road. You get down Linton Hill Road, away from 274, the property is owned by the Wolves down here. Wolves had purchased 50 feet of this Chicky Chop property at the beginning of the year. This has an existing house that sits up here, the existing barn that's being renovated on the corner of Linton Hill and 274. The owners are gonna keep, is that almost 3.5 acres with that house and barn. And they're gonna sell a little over 8 acres. It goes from this right just past the barn here to give it setback down to the Wolf. This is gonna be sold, and its other contract will be sold. So all we're doing is cutting off one lot, road frontage lot with a single family house with septic testing is already approved. It's in the process of being at DEP right now. So if we get approval, it'll be conditional to DEP approval. Planning Commission wanted me to add one thing to the plan, which is dedicated right of way. I've added that on the plan. Previously it wasn't on there, but it is on there at this time. See it? See it? Yep, the whole way, yep.
Mine's void. It's an old one.
Yeah, this is in the back.
I checked it, too.
See it there?
No,
It's okay. Okay, if you don't get it right away. 25 feet, I'm sorry. Oh, big one out.
That's-
Yep, it's on. Actually slightly goes out into this area. They did, Penn dot realigned this road at one time, and they took right away back here, and that's what this jog's all about. And that jog was, I think, 20 feet from center. If you go another 5 feet, you just get a little bit of a sliver in. And that's shown on there.
And just so you know, note 7 was removed. It's difficult to see that it was removed unless you have the old. Which I do.
Which one was that? Was that about the
Earth moving.
Yeah. That's a fairly simple plan. Plenty of road frontage. Site visibility down on that road's really well. You see pretty far. And there's notes on there about the site distance of the driveway and stuff. In the notes for a while.
And you remove note 7 on it?
Yep. Yeah, Max just confirmed that.
Okay.
He saw it. It was that thing that said no earth disturbances or something. So
Yeah,
it
it's a door, earth moving
Yeah, it was a
activity is
concept.
proposed for the plan, but
There was proposed house on it.
Yeah.
stormwater and everything else, so. Obviously, they're moving earth.
Yes, we show the stormwater pit, we size the stormwater pit and the roof and it shows, we show that.
That's what the old note 7 said, that you no longer on the plan. He just handed out tonight.
Right, there's a note 7, it's just that it's removed, everything else is bumped up.
Yeah. Used to be 13 notes, or something, 12 now. So as far as taking care of those contingencies at the bottom, those have been done.
We're done.
Check the spelling was attained.
Maybe, I know one thing, I am not
You
the
mean
best
attained or
speller, so.
obtained?
It should be obtained, right?
I think so, yeah.
Must be obtained, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Just spell it. C-E-T-I.
You're not an English teacher.
What?
You're not an English teacher.
No, I will tell you, my spelling is not good. What? What's that? Not good at this. I'm gonna be that good at it.
Oh my God, that's why God created secretaries.
Other than spell check.
Yeah, well.
It's not reliable.
No, they spell the word correctly, it's just not the right word. See a lot of those.
Yeah, I think it should be fine, except for the DEP approval fees.
Yep, that's what they want to do.
So would the motion would it be to include DEP approval?
Yeah, you have to approve me signing off on the module to mail it in anyway.
That should be separate.
Yeah, that's separate. But a contingency to the plan would be DEP approval and the fees and the 4 AORs.
I looked at it earlier today, but I didn't see anything. You have anything wrong with the Max? No,
Nice.
very simple.
Cool.
Yeah.
I flew through the planning commission.
They have called for a motion.
All right, I move that we approve the Township Mary Lou.
The board's actually.
AORs.
ARs.
Henry?
Sorry.
We can't hear.
Okay.
Somebody could turn that into a pretty nice place if they put some.
I move that we approve the alteration requirements for section 306 preliminary plat procedure. Also the AOR for section 309.A.A plan scale. Also for AOR for section 309.A.7 map scale. Also the AOR for section 309.A.2A through B4 ESC plan approval.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered.
Now the plan.
Pardon?
Now the plan.
I move that we approve the Joseph and Mary Lou, how do you say the last?
Chippy
name?
chop.
Chippy Chop subdivision plan file 2015-06, subject to DEP approval and all fees and costs being paid.
Yeah.
I second.
Okay, motion made with a second, and you agree
I
to
do
these
agree.
conditions?
I
yeah?
do.
Okay, thank you. Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
And the DEP
Yeah, one more.
module, mailer, module,
That
mailer,
would be in a mailer.
a mailer, the
Yep.
DEP mailer.
Do I hear a motion? Grant Helen the honor of sending in the mail.
Have to sign it.
And sign it.
The motion is to have Helen sign the DEP mailer. I make that motion.
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
You're done.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
You want this back?
Sure.
Okay. Then, school district.
Thanks, Henry. Sorry, I had to do all that tonight.
Oh, that's okay.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see.
The Susquehanna School District is proposing to put in a storage shed next to the new concession stand. And the question was if they needed a land development plan or not. The Planning Commission is recommending that they do not need a land development plan, as there's already existing stormwater collection pond that will accumulate the runoff, and there are no utility lines going into the building. They will still have to apply with the building code and all that.
So it's just a dry storage.
Yes. They also requested that the school district put in a pipe from the spouting of the building down to the drainage pond to make sure it doesn't wiggle its way someplace else. They also requested them to go to Perry County Conservation and to get a letter stating whether they think they need to have a ENS plan or not. We got the letter from the county conservation and they don't believe they do. So basically, we're asking for a waiver of the land development requirement.
Helen and I went down and looked at that site, looked at the plan and what they intended to do, and I don't see anything down there that they're gonna put that right close to that lower, for everybody's information, close to that lower concession stand they built. There's plenty of room around it. I asked a lot of questions of what the intent or what they're gonna use it for, to put their mats and stuff in without having to drag them elsewhere. And I would be more than satisfied or glad to make a motion that we waive the requirements for a land development plan for the Susquehanna School District on this particular issue.
I second that.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay, and the next one I have is called,
Question, do
oh,
we-
sorry.
We need to address the recommendation about the pipe being required.
They've already agreed to that at the planning commission level, the school district did, but if you wish to add it on, I would do.
You can add it to the motion.
Yeah.
Add it as a condition of the waiver. So we have to amend, now we have to amend the motion to
Or-
include.
So can I make a motion that as a condition of the waiver, we require that a pipe be required to direct the rain from the spouting on the building to the drainage pond?
I second.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay, the next one's another doozy I'm hoping to get off the plate very soon.
Okay.
Sam Smith Land Development Plan. This is Haldeman's hardware stormwater basin issue thing. Finally, got plans done. Zoning officer things completed. They gave us a stormwater agreement and declaration of easement, and a financial security amount that they are saying is what they would we're requiring a financial security. This is what they come up with their calculations. So,
Seems reasonable. You should have a letter from me, it was handed out tonight. I did
Yeah.
look at it, it seems like a reasonable estimate, and I recommended you approve that for financial security.
and then the stormwater easement agreement, it's our standard agreement. I did send it to Rich, he didn't respond yea or nay, so either he drove this originally out, but you have to accept that. And if you're happy with all this, we need to reaffirm the plan so it can be recorded once everything's in place. The financial security comes in and all that.
The plan was approved so long ago, it's beyond.
Yes.
Approval, so.
I have it here if you want to look at it. And you can see from Burgett, they sent me an update after update of where it's at, because I sent them letters asking where it's at.
Issue's been on the table a long time. Max and I've been dealing with this for a long time, you know what I'm saying? I make a motion that we concur with the letter of credit amount and that we concur with, giving final approval on this plan.
Oh, how about this stormwater management?
Stormwater management, yes, okay. What else have we got on that?
Fees.
Huh, fees,
Fees.
subject to all fees being paid.
Okay. Storm fees, letter. And does this also include the reaffirmation of the plan?
I'll include that, yes.
Okay,
Reaffirmation of it.
Reapprove the plan
basically.
with the existing prior conditions, or?
These are the only conditions that were outstanding.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
How are you going to pass the
Let me see that off the book. It's been a long time.
That's all I have under planning commission.
Okay.
Thank God.
Zoning report, Helen? And for you?
You have that before you. He's been busy doing certificate of occupancy permits. He reviewed information for the Curlin property. Yeah, that's for the conditional use. And that was it. That's all he did.
Okay. Storage enforcement officer report in front of you?
Yes. You have that. He's done a lot of perks and probes.
Okay. Penn Township Park and Rec Board report.
Karen couldn't be here, so she has your written report in front of you. The kitchen's all done except for the toe kick, which we have contacted Mr. Fuller, and he's gonna come and finish next week. That's concession stand, they've gotta go out and make a list of repairs they wanna do. That was it, that's basic. She pushes a couple little more decorations this year. And that's it for that.
Penn Township Municipal Authority report.
I've received nothing from them, but I let you know that I did send the authority a letter requesting to know who was replacing Mr. Ox as the PA one call representative for them.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to hear from that soon. Hint, hint, hint.
Point of order. There's a park and rec CD renewal.
We did that under invoices.
We did that. Okay. Secretary's report, Helen.
Okay. First thing I have is the holding tank ordinance that has been advertised and is ready for adoption.
Okay, that's been on the books for quite a while. I make a motion we adopt.
I second.
I'm just looking at you two to find out who's gonna say something.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered. Comfort Tech maintenance contract.
Okay, the current contract we have with Comfort Tech was to maintain and repair the rooftop things and the heating furnace in the garage. Well, I didn't want to spend that much money for just the garage. So I talked to Mr. Kevin McCarty, about amending our contract to include the split systems maintenance and the garage. And this is what he gave us up for next year, and then we'd have to go out for bids. He's talking $1,552 for the year, including 4 visits, taking care of 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 split systems and the heating in the garage. And they would, they come and do the normal maintenance, filters and all that. And then they do a complete operational checks in February and August, is one of our updates. I was hoping for less, but.
I notice here that they're excluding the 4 train package heating and air conditioning units on the roof.
No reason to look to maintain them if we're not using them.
Okay. As long as we don't need them maintained, get rid of them.
That is another discussion altogether, because if you do that, you're talking of having a big hole, you'll have 4 holes in the roof, won't you?
Yeah, there's a curb up there, though. It's so simple to make a top for over top of the curb. Once you lift the air conditioning off, there's a raised curb there. It's just
Okay.
a square box that you make that's waterproof to set down over top of that curb, Helen.
Okay, well,
I
I've
mentioned
never
that
been up there to
before
look.
up there. That's something that could be demoed easy. There's not much to them. The piping up there, the propane could be taken down, could be screwed apart. And while you're talking about that, I need to mention that the work that's been done on getting rid of the propane tank out here is underground, needs to be dug up.
Yes, I contacted Suburban, it's their tanks. They want us to dig them up.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm not too sure about who's going to disconnect them from the pipes and all that. That's another one we'd have to find out exactly everything they'd want us to do and they want to do when we contact the gentleman. Well, I didn't expect this nice of weather, but I was thinking spring would be the best time to do this. There has been no propane use. I've cut off all deliveries of propane. And I don't know how much is in the tanks itself right now.
Yeah, well, they'll reimburse you for that amount.
Yeah, hopefully,
If
yes.
they take out the tank.
Once you dig it up, they should be able to shut it off at the tank, and
Yeah.
then removing the delivery system
Yeah, but
wouldn't be a horrible thing.
the bigger question is, do they want us to lift the tank out also, or just dig around it, or?
They had to give us the scope of work, what they need, Max, because those things are poured down in there in the base with bands around them so they don't float.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. It's the same as, no different taking them out than what it is installed,
Yeah, you can-
just in the reverse.
Yeah.
You can undo the band connections,
Yeah.
and then the tank
You
will pick
can-
up.
Yeah,
but
they
You can
take
leave
them out.
you can leave the concrete in.
Yeah,
if
you
want.
bury the concrete in place,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're more than likely in sand, which they usually are, they put in sand, not direct burial with.
And we have 2 tanks. We
Yeah,
have a
there's
double
two-
tank.
2 of them down there, double tanks down there. It's not, the excavation part of it's nothing that's beyond the township if they have a decent operator on the hoe,
No.
okay? Or the removal of them, or the lifting them out, they're not that heavy.
No, I wouldn't
They're
think so.
not
Even
that
when
big.
full, I wouldn't think they were that heavy.
As long as your backhoe would pick it up.
Yeah.
That's the only deal. It would be nice for them to be here.
Definitely.
So that when you sling it and properly to bring it out, that you're okay.
Yeah. But that's, getting in contact with the gentleman we have to get in contact with and making arrangements for him to come out, give us the scope and all that.
Yeah, you'll have to find out exactly what they needed. It's one of the items on there that's yet to be done.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
Do you want to wait for Mr. Peters to come back to vote on the contract for maintenance or not?
Yes, I'm waiting, yeah. that's what
Okay.
I'm waiting on.
Good, then I'm getting a drink. Okay. So we'll all take a couple minute break. I was gonna ask, is he following?
Does she want to use the room and
Yes, I do.
Right.
Give me a lot.
I had a commitment on October, and then I didn't realize you moved it in November, Rich. I showed up the night before Thanksgiving, and I'm like, where is everybody?
I'm getting paid either.
I've been here in the past on Thanksgiving Eve. You know? I've been here in the past on Thanksgiving Eve. Oh, yeah? Yes. Like what, 2011, 12?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I'd have meeting and then have dinner the next day. And you.
I'll just show up, every day morning, I'll be here.
You don't start that dinner in the morning anyhow.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows the Patriot
Okay, Brian, in front of us, we held off on approving the Comfort Tech maintenance contract, okay? Do I hear a motion to adopt that, Comfort Tech, they're gonna take care of all these new units up here?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that, and the furnace out in the shed out there would say service, okay?
Yeah.
I make a motion.
Okay, motion been made, do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion made with a second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. I will
Okay.
say that everybody seems to be happy with the new units up here, and I'm glad to be part of having that worked into township budget the last couple of years. They have new heating systems put in this building. It was much needed, and we are really cutting.
It's already
saving.
saved us $6,000 a year,
Yeah, it saved us $6,000 on propane.
and electric's lower.
Yeah, and our electric bills are really in good shape with it. Okay, Act 44 for pension plans, Helen. You
Okay.
need us to adopt the Act 44
Yes.
disclosure statement?
Now, this is for the police pension, the township pension, and the new 401(5) or whatever it's called. All we do is adopt it and put it on the
Yep.
webpage.
Do I hear a motion to adopt?
I make that motion.
Motion been made, do I hear a second?
I second.
Motion made with a second, all those in favor give their consent for saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. The other is an FYI, meeting items for our review there.
Yeah, that was from the cap tax meeting in December.
Okay,
And
I
I
just
can,
have one thing before you move on. Going back to the holding tank ordinance, last month, that had already been advertised.
no, it was authorization for advertise.
No,
Oh,
no.
oh, I was, okay.
It had been authorized and
Advertised.
advertised before last month.
Yes,
Last month, Mr. Peters gave Helen changes
Mr.
and
McGuire did.
directed that it be advertised again,
Mm-hmm.
which it was and adopted tonight. I'm just strictly pointing out that there is more wasted advertisement money. If we were better prepared, we wouldn't have to pay for advertising twice.
Was it Mr. Peters or Mr. McGuire?
Mr. McGuire. It was Mr. McGuire, it's McGuire who, gave me changes.
No, I have that you had that you asked for it to be re-advertised.
Now, we need to fix that in the minutes.
Well, he might have asked for it to be advertised.
Oh, for advertising, he
Yeah,
asked
that's
for?
what she said.
Holding tank ordinance now has changes that Brian Peters gave to Helen. Advertise again. Brian Peters called for that motion, Henry seconded.
Okay. Peters made the motion to advertise, but McGuire's the one who gave me the changes.
It wasn't in the Patriot News, he didn't have,
No.
I don't know about that.
so it's still a couple
Well, I know who gave me the stuff, Cece.
still $100 or something.
We could double check the minutes. If we need to, we can correct it.
Review.
Yeah.
Which minutes? Last month,
18, November.
these? Okay.
That'd be under my report.
November 18th.
Yeah, that's all I have under mine.
okay, thank you, Helen. Engineers report,
Yes,
Rivera's Ford letter of credit.
yes, I performed a site review of it. It seems to have been built in conformity with the approved plan, in general conformity. I didn't go out there and tape it and everything. Looked around for all the facilities, they all seem to be there, that was supposed to be there. And everything seems to be in operating condition and in pretty good shape. So I'm recommending that you reduce it in the full amount of $113,084.35 upon the condition that he produced the as-built plan for the project that he should be providing. That would note any changes, and I advised him that if in reality no changes have been made to the plan, it would be sufficient to just send a letter to the township and say, during construction, no changes were made to the layout of the plan, and therefore the plan as approved is in fact an as-built plan. Otherwise, they could just mark up the plan from the contractor and say, well, we moved this or we moved that. But I really didn't see anything they had to move. So, but I don't know if we've gotten anything in, and I checked with Helen, they hadn't heard.
No.
That would be my recommendation, that you condition it upon getting that information as to whether anything was physically moved that wasn't readily available, obvious to me when I went through it.
You talked to Ryan or you talked to the engineer?
I talked to Ryan,
Okay.
and he said as far as he knew, there was really nothing that had changed. Everything was pretty much the way it was supposed to be.
So he just
And
has
I
to
looked at it
confirm.
and went, everything seems to be, nothing's obvious. They didn't.
Okay.
The only thing I saw was they put in an ADA ramp, which I wasn't sure was quite noted that way on the plan, but that
It
was a
may
minor
not,
issue.
but that might have been a change because of the building permit.
Yeah, so, but it has no impact on the plan, other than make a line change, that's minor.
Do I hear a motion to accept Mac's recommendation on the current requested reduction on the financial security, that there be $113,084.35 be removed?
I make that motion condition upon receipt of the as-built plan.
Okay,
I second.
motion made. For the second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
I have nothing else, everything else we've
Thank you,
talked
Max.
about.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, engineer's report, we have police report.
Yeah, the report there, the activity report, and fees that we've received so far year to date. The grant was completed, our aggressive driving grant, and it was done very well, and we had quite a few comments from Penn on that. Hazmat bags were donated by East Pennsboro EMS for all the vehicles, so we have a supply of them in each of the vehicles. Our new vehicle was delivered this week, and we did take custody of that. We're in the process of putting equipment in it and stuff now. We did have interviews for new officers. We interviewed 4 officers, and I requested 3 of them be approved for hiring. Michael Cavadius, Joseph Murphy, and Colby Snook.
Okay,
I make the motion that we approve the new police officers as named by the chief.
I second.
motion made with a second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered.
Cliff, Rick. 1450
Pardon?
rates and pay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I can just include something here with the officers, to be honest with you, during the interview process, I think they're probably about the 3, not taking anything from the other officers, but these 3 officers they came with great credentials and really a nice background, so I think they're an added asset to the township.
I agree.
Okay, permit report?
Well,
I gotta know if we got paid for 322.
No, not yet, still. Call Mr. Wolf.
No, the officer that was over there that day, how did he get paid?
He hasn't been paid until we get paid.
So we don't pay the officer until
That's
he
correct.
does the work and
That's correct,
Tell them to call the
Yeah.
you know that's too often.
You want the number?
Apparently the payment was part of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
The permits you have in front of you, nothing major on them. Okay, signs, new additions, demolition of a shed, that's it.
Okay. Solicitor's report?
I have nothing from you.
Okay, I talked to Solicitor Wagner just today, to answer some questions. He was on his way back from his grandchildren down in South Carolina, would answer the phone call on the road. The question came up as whether there's gonna be any unexpected fees or costs from Solicitor Wagner or anything that's out there, since there is no lawsuits or anything out there that costs this township money at the present time, or should be. There will be no forwarding bill from Solicitor Wagner to this township for anything. But he did say if you wanna contribute 30 or 40,000, he'd be glad to take it.
Does he have to show up to get it?
That was one of those things, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, Jess, you know, Solicitor Wagner isn't here, there isn't much on the agendas. I've seen Max here, I've seen it when we did have him here and there wasn't here, and it came out of the audience out here, why is our township engineer sitting here when we don't have anything paying him, and et cetera. I thank Max, by golly, for his conservative views, that there isn't nothing here that he don't burn the township taxpayers. And Solicitor Wagner did that same thing, but always took care of our needs. I doubt if you're gonna find that in the future, but nobody can say anything that Richard Wagner didn't contribute. In the chicken barbecue and a tremendous amount of free time and a tremendous amount of things to this township. He does deserve that credit, because that was fact that he done that. And he made himself available. I put phone calls into Rick's, and he was on a boat cruise, and he answered. And he did take care of this township, by golly, on response on things still. That being said, he had like 38 years of it, almost 40 years here. Permit report,
Just did it.
okay, and correspondence.
We got an email from this PSP. I gave that to you guys for your information. And then we have a letter from the Perry County Economic Development Corporation introducing their board members. And that's all I have under correspondence.
Okay, thanks, Helen. Old business?
Old business. First thing is Mr. Linker. Dennis went out, he sent a letter to you gentlemen. Okay, he wrote and demanded he cease to use the property for the commercial sale of vehicles. Mr. Aiken's attorney contacted him and requested information, which he was given, and he has not heard from him since. But there are no other travel trailers or anything else parked there.
That's not
That's
Linker
not the Linker
property.
property.
That's not Linker, that's it.
Edkins, I'm sorry.
The agenda says like.
I'm sorry, that's me.
Yeah,
Linker's on there too, that's me, I'm sorry. That's the Edkins. I can do Linker now.
Okay.
I gave Rich the questions we had from last month on whether we could proceed with the citing and all that good stuff. He had me contact County Conservation, Mr. Imes. Mr. Imes would not comment and told me that they were following DEP thing on it. So I contacted Scott at DEP. He told me that he had no problem, and DEP had no problem with us enforcing our ordinances. There is one other permit out for, on that property at DEP, but that is right now inactive, and will probably be deemed denied for the same reason as the last one. But right now it's still considered an active permit, but there's no activity on it. I responded back to Rich. He told me to have Lenny cite him. Lenny had the question of, do we use the 2014 citation or a new one, just to be completely legal? Rich said to use to do a new one. I've contacted Lenny and told him that yesterday, when I got the answer. So that's where we are right now.
So which one is Lenny using?
Then he's gonna re-cite him that he's in violation, and then that should take 20 days from his receipt of the letter. And then if he doesn't do it, we can cite in court. That's where we're on that one. But it's
So
progress.
we're not lifting the cease and desist.
Oh, no.
But we are giving him permission to reduce the pile.
Yes, and we do not have to reword or reissue a cease and desist to allow that. We just have to cite him saying, hey, this is your problem, you need to get this taken care of.
So you will be notified that the cease and desist is still in place, but he must reduce the pile.
I can do that. I was not told to do that by Rich, but
Well, no, I'm just asking, is he gonna be informed that this cease and desist is still, that way he doesn't think carte blanche, that he can go in there and just do anything?
I haven't done that, but I agree with you that it's
Yeah.
probably a good idea.
There's a history.
Yes. Yes. I can do that. Yeah, because the cease and desist came from us, not Lenny.
Correct.
So. You wish of the whole board for me to do that? Wish of the whole board for me to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now, all right, the ambulance letter. We sent a letter to East Pennsboro Ambulance and East Pennsboro Township on the incident that happened on October 4th with the hazardous waste. Name of the...
Philbeck.
Thank you. Mr. Philbeck contacted the office and informed me that it was not his ambulance that did that, and he was very upset. I called the chairman and told him because he wanted to talk to the chairman, so. I also checked with the county EMS, our county emergency. They told me who did actually obtain it was not East Pennsboro. East Pennsboro is asking for a letter of retraction. You have that draft before you. I'm asking, one, is this good? You want to add to it? Subtract from it, whatever. And two, do you wish to send a letter to the other two entities that were named by our county?
CC, in regards to that, I'll tell you my portion that I played in that, you know what I'm saying? You came forward with what you had, you know what I'm saying? Helen drafted up a letter, I took a look at it. I never really felt that maybe it should be involved sending to these people down here and making accusations and whatnot, because one more time, I did not take the move that I should have as chairman and check with the county to see who made the call. Helen took it upon herself to mail this letter. It did not go into East Pennsboro. It did not go into the ambulance place itself. It went to the supervisors.
No, that's not totally, it went into the ambulance company, copied to the supervisors.
And they went into the supervisors. The ambulance club got an awful lot of flack from their supervisors down there that they were providing an erroneous service. So I came back in here and he had already done his work. It was 29-3 in West Shore that was called into this call down here. We verified that through the county. We do owe them people down there an apology, by golly, for sending a letter to them stating that they were involved in that when they were totally not.
That was a Cumberland County unit.
Yes, West Shore is,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, but it wasn't East Pennsboro, as
I
stated.
know it was a.
It was Cumberland 185.
Yes, and we verified that through the base up here, that it was 29-3 that was called, and West Shore, CC. So we do owe those people an apology that come out of this office in regard to that. Shame on me for not doing my homework.
But it was not 29-3 being Duncannon.
Yes.
Yes.
According to Esther, it was.
Yes.
29-3 ambulance was there, and then there was a
She said they both
ALS unit
responded.
that showed up, that went.
That's what she has on record, they
A,
both responded.
Warrensburg ALS unit.
Craig, was your unit 29-3 on that scene?
I believe so. I believe there was also a MICU, a mobile intensive care unit from West Shore EMS, which would have been the Wormleysburg unit. And don't quote me on this, but my memory tells me that the East Pennsboro ambulance was dispatched and canceled, but did arrive because they never got the message they were canceled. So they weren't on the record on the scene, if it's the same call I'm thinking, but they did arrive there not knowing they had been placed in service. I don't know, I wasn't there. I don't know specifics otherwise, but there was I believe a MICU from Holy Spirit West Shore EMS, which was out of, it would have been Lemoyne Station.
But East Pennsboro did not provide any service to
As
our
far as
knowledge.
I know, as far as I know.
Okay.
None.
Esther certainly couldn't comment on what was done on the scene.
Oh, no, she did.
No, she
No.
didn't.
Wouldn't expect her to.
No, she didn't comment what was done on the scene. We only went back, and I will say that the story that I got is correct as Greg said it, as to who it was and how it happened. We do owe those people an apology out of this office.
As a side note, I did share the concern that you brought forth, CC, with our personnel, and they knew nothing about it. They had treated the patient, but there was fire personnel, there were paramedics, there were a lot of...
Right, the fire personnel was the first on the scene even before the police officer.
Right.
And
That's not uncommon.
right, and I recalled that conversation with you after that happened, that your units were out, and this was a Cumberland County unit. That Duncannon was not able to respond.
I think we were coming back from another call or something. I can check and verify that. I don't know that answer.
I make a letter of recommendation, or I make a recommendation or a motion that we forward one to the supervisors of East Pennsboro down here and into the EMS down there, into the ambulance service down there, to accept our apologies. A mistake was made, and trying to correct that matter down there, that there's no hard feelings. Phil Beck was very nice, very understanding about it, and I said to him, I said, I will correct it. He brought it to my attention, then I went and done my homework, and what was said here tonight is verified. That's really what happened.
Question on the motion.
Yes.
Your motion is for a separate letter to each group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that was a two-parter.
Well, this is,
No, this is just a retraction letter draft that,
That's what
I'm asking if that is, if you wish to have more added to it or subtract from it.
okay.
First. I didn't put another draft letter for the others.
Yeah.
So this is just to the township, this isn't to the ambulance service?
Oh, yeah, it's CC'd.
Yeah, CC down there, yeah. So that's important.
Yeah, that's, where's that other one?
Okay.
Oh, that's the letter they sent.
Put that in the form of a motion. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Okay.
Ayes have it. So
And the second part of that, I know you already know about it, but do we want to send a letter with the same concerns we had with the first letter to the other?
Well, if we thought it was important enough to send the letter to the wrong addressee, is it not important that we send the letter to the correct addressee?
And our facts are correct.
It is now.
I concur with Mr. McGuire that if it was valid the first time, we got the right pew, we just got the right church. So, yeah.
Okay, form of motion, is that a second?
I second.
Okay, second, all those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it. Take care of it for us, will you, Helen?
Yes. Okay, last thing under old business, you have the request for proposals from all the solicitors, and you should have that too. I know you guys haven't had a long time. I was expecting this to be done on Monday, but do you wish to do it tonight or not?
That was the intent when I said that the letters would be in by the 21st, give everybody a chance to take a look at the reviews of the 3 supervisors.
Yep.
So the decision will be made tonight to hire an attorney. One problem, take it out of the road. I reviewed and read each one of those thoroughly. There's some in there that some have some experience, some don't have too much experience. There is some in there that have a lot of municipal municipal government experience. So it's open for discussion of the board at the present time for recommendations for retain a solicitor. While everybody's thinking about that, I'll add a couple things, Helen, and go make up their mind, take a look at it. I will say one thing, I forgot to thank the fire company from Duncannon. They came out with their trucks on that culvert out there on Butcher Shop Road at Rob's to hose that out. That thing was solid. We pumped 2,000 gallons of water before we got that thing blowed open. And I forgot to thank them tonight for that donation of time that they came out. I have one other thing underneath old business, but I forgot to mention. I hope that it continues on. I replenished the coffee fund in the township today like I always do. If you want to eat cookies or whatnot, I urge the supervisors here to keep that option going. That is something that everybody appreciates doing when they come in here. It's always been those that donate. So anybody wants to help keep that fund going over there, or keep the cookies over there, I'm sure Helen will be glad to keep any type of a donation to keep that going. That's all I had that I missed on old business.
I'd like to recommend that we remove 2 of the submitters from consideration. One is Stephen Mann, he has no municipal experience. And the other is Kent Patterson, because he has a much higher rate than any of the other applicants.
Okay.
That's only a recommendation.
looking at, Mr. Bonds also, he's had a lot of experience in assisting, in areas.
Mr. Bond?
Norman
His was-
Smith.
Okay, no, yes,
Mr.
I see
Bond
it.
starts out at 130 an hour,
Yeah, there it is.
and
And then if he cannot handle the matter, he has somebody that can, but their rate is $140 an hour.
correct.
And I thought there was one that came in at 100. No, that's 150 also.
110.
Mr. Allshouse came in at 110 per hour for all work.
Yes, and this is the cheaper of all of them, plus he has extensive municipal, township and borough experience. And his experience is Perry County, along with Cumberland and York. His practice is in here in Perry County also. So he would be more familiar with issues that face us as a township in Perry County. Mr. Randy Zimmerman out of Mifflintown comes with quite a line of credentials. But we're looking at a fee of $150 an hour. But significant litigation would cost us $175 an hour. So to keep our expenses down and accountability for our expenses, and the person that comes with experience, I would probably at this point here look towards, is it, how do you say his last name,
Allshouse.
Allshouse?
Mhm.
And he's also, he's not requesting a retainer, so therefore, if he didn't work out, we're not obligated to a year of service, because he's not requiring a retainer. Hang on a second, let me just make sure that that's correct, 'cause I read some of them last night.
Page 2 at the top, first paragraph, last sentence, no retainer fee is required, is that what you're looking for?
Yes. There it is, thank you, sir. So with the best bang for our buck and the experience that comes with it, he has quite extensive municipal authority experience, working with police departments and collective bargaining, which we don't have collective bargaining, but out of the 5 that we have, we eliminated 2 of them. Out of those 3 there, it looks like Mr. Allhouse is the cheaper of the 3 that are left, and comes with significant background and significant experience in working with boroughs and municipalities. So I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and accept,
Brian, I haven't offered my opinion.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
I'd like to go, but I reviewed all these and I've taken a look at it, maybe to the chagrin of some other people out here and et cetera. But I take a look at the difference out here, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want a fighter in your corner, you want someone that puts in his letter, and the only one that has in here, that he believes in zealously representing my municipal clients and making sure that my municipalities do not get involved in what many times are purely private disputes. That is important. Solicitor Wagner did that throughout his whole tenure here. And many a time when you got involved with these private disputes, Mr. Smith, Mr. Benner, they are tough. And a good attorney, by golly, if he wants to, can usually diffuse those. I also will say, and I'm speaking here about Mr. Zimmerman up here. He comes well recommended, and sometimes you get what you pay for, by golly, for having someone, by golly, that's going to be in your corner. If you guys don't want them, that's my opinion. That is my vote, by golly, in regards to solicitors. I've been over this. The guy has a lot of townships here. Some like him, some don't, and that's with any attorney. They're liked if they win for you, and they're hated if they lose for you. So I offered that comment. The rest of it's up to the other two over here in regards to that. I will say he heard about it through your folks out there and somewhere, and what was going on out there, he heard that there was solicitors office. I will say, yes, the man called me. He said that he had done work for Mr. Benner out there, etc. Didn't think Mr. Benner was too happy with him. But I will tell you one thing, the only issue that Mr. Benner had out there was them trying to stop you from crossing your land. And believe you me, they could have never done that. I'm sorry that you had to get an attorney, by golly, to do that, Mr. Benner. I'm very sorry you had to spend that money. I know how needlessly it is to get your point across, but if you had not done that, you'd still be fighting. What is the wish of the board?
I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and notify Mark W. Allhouse, Esquire, to be appointed the next solicitor of Penn Township. He comes with the same credentials. He has certain municipalities. If he wasn't doing a good job, I can't see Dillsburg Borough not working with him. North Middleton Township, a very sizable township. They're outside of Carlisle. And again, he does service two municipalities in our own township, or in our own county. And he also has done work for the Water Authority in North Middleton. So I believe he comes with credible credentials. If he wasn't willing to represent the supervisors in the township properly, I don't think he'd still be with Dillsburg Borough and North Middleton and his other townships. So with that motion, to accept Mr. Allhouse.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion second, discussion. Motion made, and with a second discussion on the particular matter. It was a matter that I was getting ready to, so that I didn't need to participate in this, to have a table for Monday night. I was going to ask for that. Motion been made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay?
Okay,
Authorize that a letter be sent to Mr. Allhouse.
Okay.
do that. And draw a line through that on your January 4th meeting. Anyone else with old business?
Okay, yes, Helen, I do have a couple of things I
Okay.
keep thinking up that I'd like to bring out. In case I don't make the reorganization meeting on Monday night, I'm gonna take this opportunity every year at reorganization meeting. I oppose the township parking their vehicles, using my land, turning it around in it. I do that every time. Doesn't say that it isn't done later on, but the reason for that is, I know a very instant case that I was involved, stood on the witness stand up here in Perry County Court, where people left the township, used their road for over 21 years, and they took their land from them. So the township, I want you to know, unless you get express written consent, from me, to turn around my road, you got 3/8 of a mile to back out, and I've seen that done many a time. There's no place to turn around at the end of Holman Drive. Not trying to be belligerent, not trying to make it hard on the township or anybody out here. But they need to come forward and get my permission, by golly, to do that. I just make matter of record that I oppose them using it for anything. They're down there working later on and want to store equipment or park something where it's safe, where nobody borrows it or whatnot, or gonna bother it. All they can do is come say something to me. But otherwise, I have to take that stand. I don't want the same thing happening to me.
So just I have clarification, because I don't, so if somebody accesses somebody's property for 20 years and nothing's ever said, 21 years, then that a person can say it's theirs because they maintain it.
They got the use of it. That's exactly what they did on Aurora Drive down there. They done that on Aurora Drive down there. They couldn't prove that that portion of it was township road. They never proved that in the courts. But the people were good enough to let the township go farther than where the township road ended and turn around. They never complained. They done it as good neighbors. They done it as something to allow the township. And when he came out back there, sets a boy that tore that particular piece of road all up with his 955 doing work for someone on that property back there. And he came to me and said, "Is that a township road?" And I said, "No, Jeff, it's not." And a private individual paid for all that work that was done, widening that road, tearing that road up. And the minute he was done and paid, the township claimed the road, put stone on it, and thus the lawsuit started. And it was never proven, it was never a township road in all the history of my life. I know where it ended, I know where it used to go to. And so, in Perry County Court, it was awarded to the township because they never complained, they never put trespass notices up. That's why you see them at my place. Don't like them there, but I do it to protect myself. And so that is what the story is there with that, and that gives you a good reason. I think I've explained this before at other times for that.
Question for you, Mr. Holman.
Yes.
Once we get the new solicitor, would you be willing to bring that back before our new solicitor and we have a written agreement?
No easements. Cannot be done since the farm preserved. There's no more easements, there's no more right-of-ways granted. That can never be done.
We're just saying that we would never come against your property to take
Can't do it. I can't grant it.
Okay.
Can't do it. There's no more right-of-ways, there's no more easements across the place down there. That is why the place is preserved. To take that away from these people suing me for the ground and et cetera. That's why I done it. There's no more easements, there's gonna be no more telephone wires, and no more roads right across the place. The county will uphold that. That's part of what I donated those development rights away. I cannot grant you an easement, Brian, if I wanted to.
Okay.
Can't do it. But I do have the right to control it as who goes on it and how and et cetera, but I can't write an agreement. The agreement is bound by what the county and Mr. Bunt and everybody else up there put down in writing.
Okay.
Only what's in writing now is allowed. So I'm not saying that you can up there, but I can tell you what, there's a reason for why I do that. It's a bad experience when it happens to you. You change your mind on a lot of things. There is, like I said, 2 easements on them. One of them is at Aurora Drive, where there was an easement created over there so that they could settle that issue, the township trucks. And up here in Penn Manor, right out here on the bottom one back here, there's an easement back there. Max, you were involved in that, and the neighbor said he didn't want the bank and the trees tore out. He gave us an easement there to turn around. It's only 2 I know of the township, for the township to turn around. It's only 2 I know of. Okay, and if I do, I respect that's in the minutes, that particular item. I won't need to bring it up at reorganization meeting. I have one other thing under old business yet. Helen's got it in here. I mentioned to you that the trail that I built for the roller out here and the oil tank that's out there, Township is willing to use. There is some considerable value in it. I wouldn't take it from them for the oil out there, or take it from them that they had to buy a trailer heavy enough to carry and convey the roller around. If the Township decides that they don't want it, I personally would like to have it back. Helen draw up agreement there. What is the wish of the board as to whether,
They haven't seen it, Henry.
well, okay. I just saw a copy, I just had it here, know where to put it on.
Oh, no, it's just.
I just had it here in my hand.
Want me to go print another copy off? I thought you were gonna change it.
What's that?
I thought you were gonna change the wordage of it.
On regards to that?
Yeah.
Well, let's bring it out here and I'll do that right now.
All
I'd like to get that settled so it's done. You guys don't need to deal with it. I just saw that. I know, Brian, you expressed interest that you wanted it and you're welcome to use it, although there is some value into it if the Township decides that they don't want to use it. I just saw that. Huh, no, I'm positive I saw that in here. I know I had. There we are. She drew up a letter there that says, I'm placing notice that if at any time Penn Township decides does not wish to keep or use the tank or the heavy-duty trailer that I have let the township use, I, Henry Holman Jr., will retake possession of the items upon notice. No, I won't retake it. I would like to see that wording changed, that the township will see that it comes back into my possession. I'm
Release it
not
back
about,
to you.
huh?
Release it back to you.
Yeah, okay, I don't want to, I don't like that she has there, I will retake it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not,
You're not an Indian, you're.
I'm trying to,
That's the term we use.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at there, Jesse, that she changed that. She comes over there like that. Helen, I discussed that, I have it here. There was the portion that I have on there, retake. I didn't want it that was retake, that it would be returned to me or come back
Okay.
to my possession. I didn't like the word that I was just like, makes it look like I'm just gonna walk in and take it whenever I want it. No, won't
Okay.
do that.
You want return there.
Okay?
Okay, I can do that. I'll do that here.
And I'd like to see a motion or an agreement here to that tonight. If it's not signed tonight or the letter's not there, just
Oh, it'll
so-
get done tonight.
So I know it's done before the end of the year.
You need a copy of it, Brian, to look at? Okay.
Okay, so it's going to read the I, Henry Holman. That
She said, she placed a notice, you
the
know.
Penn Township will release the items to Mr. Henry A. Holman Jr. upon no longer needing to use that equipment or something.
Use that equipment, yeah.
That we're releasing it back to you for anything to use it.
Yeah.
And we agreed
You
on
may,
that.
you may decide you want another trailer out there, put a lot of tube steel, a lot of line beams and stuff and build that out there.
Can we have it, well, just, can we have it reworded properly?
Yes, yeah.
And then,
Yes.
We've already agreed,
Yeah, we agreed. I
we've already
agree.
agreed in minutes last month,
That's right.
we did.
Yeah.
You know, so if we could just have it reworded properly, if we could make this a part of other business on Monday and just get, we already have a verbal minutes.
I would suggest also that you put to Henry Holman Jr. or his heirs or successor.
Yes, if you want your sons to have it, so.
Okay, you got it rewritten there? or-
No,
Okay.
I guess you work with Henry on rewording it.
Okay.
But like I said, in last month's minutes, we agreed that we would take possession of it, and if you ever, we never were going to use it, it would come back
I
to
just
you.
wanted to make sure that we're still on. I will be in tomorrow morning, how until dinner time?
Yep.
And you guys close, and we'll take care of that. Anything else that I have to
So we
sign.
can just bring it up at Monday's reorganization. meeting.
Okay?
It is Monday, correct?
Yes.
Yep, Monday.
Oh, yes.
Monday.
Everybody, yes.
Okay. New business, newsletter?
Newsletter. Any articles you want to place in the newsletter, I'll need by January 22nd. If you could do, hi, I'm your new supervisor type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I put out all of them on spot. Anything from the EMS?
Perhaps.
Yeah. And I don't see the fire company here, so I'll email them.
What about us?
Yeah, well, definitely, you'll always get a
Can
notification.
can you do the municipal authority a favor?
Yes?
Can you give us a little bit more notice? Because our meeting's gonna be at the beginning of the month and we won't,
22nd.
I mean, we'll get it.
No, I understand.
We don't get a chance to look over it. It ends up coming through.
Without, yes,
a
I
lot of-
understand. Okay, but I have to have it on the Thursday of the 5th, so I can put it in.
I mean, we'll give it to you on that date. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that in the future,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you, like
Yeah.
say, for December's meeting, that we can get an idea, and then January, we can propose everything, say, everybody hands all the paperwork in. This
I
will
didn't
be-
realize how short it was.
The way we overlap meeting-wise,
Yes.
it makes it, you've
Hard.
got to go over a 2-month time frame to get anything done.
Yeah.
So put notice out in November.
Yes,
So that way,
It just makes it complicated.
yeah.
yeah.
Or set the schedule for the year next month, so that way we have those dates.
Decide on when you're gonna publish.
Well, this is to get it in people's hands the first week of March.
Right.
And I need 2 weeks for copies and all that, and you guys wanna look at it again too, so.
Okay.
What's the deadline? January 22nd?
Second. And I can get it in and get it to you guys. October.
Calendar on the right's 15.
Yeah, this, I'm looking at this one. Oh, I'm not, I am looking at the wrong one. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
And that's all I had.
okay, that's all you got? Before we go into executive session, we don't have anything else on new business. I would, gonna extend my thanks to everybody here. I look forward to setting out there. I'm not going away, I assure you, I'm not gonna try to micromanage, but I'll probably drive Helen nuts with right the nose. And there'll be an awful lot of questions fielded out here because I've got an awful lot of requests from an awful lot of people that don't walk away from this thing. And I feel by come March, on the quarter report, June report, and by September, I'll know where we're headed with this township financially. And if Mr. McGuire doesn't run for re-election the following year and it goes south, I will be back on the ballot. I am concerned about that, and so are an awful lot of other people as to where we're headed financially. That being said, this time I'd like to enter into executive session.
Well, I know that, I'm just giving them to you.
No, that's no threat, that's a promise. That's, you know, if it goes south, you know, I'm gonna sit here and watch it. Sure, go ahead.
Yes.
Real quick.
You might as well move on up. Mine is off, Henry.
What's that?
Mine's off. Oh, there it is.
Okay. Couple minutes after 11, reconvene, executive session. There was a transfer of information regarding legal issues that I choose to pass on to the new supervisor and Brian McGuire and Helen. There was no decisions, anything, was only executive session held for transfer of information. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Just, if I can say two quick things here. One, I attended a meeting last, 2 weeks ago. There's Creedic is working with, total of 8 counties, but their first 3 counties, and now they're asking Perry County to join in with them. There is a positive note going on within the county for, infrastructure. If we would want to get UGI to come in and lay pipes to bring natural gas, it's about $1 million a mile for them to do that. There's with new technology and new transferring of natural gas, there's now what they call virtual pipelines. And what that does is that builds compression stations and decompression stations to actually bring natural gas into the county. So they would bring a compression station where, that's where the supplier is, kind of like what they call the mother. And then the daughter part of it would be where they would actually build these decompression stations in the community, say like here, up here on the hill. And that would be a supplier. So there is now natural gas, you know, coming to the county through these compressions and decompressions. When I say it's potential coming to the county, the commissioners still have to discuss it to agree to be partnered in with this Creedic. But it's a very positive note that a lot of the farmers, a lot of the businesses that would probably prefer to use natural gas than fuel oils or electricity now would be able to tap into those resources.
Could they tap off the pipelines that already go through here and stuff, and
Well,
then
that's,
decompress it into?
that was the question, that they could build a compression station like near the Texas Eastern lines, or it's Texas Eastern, right? That's right here. They could possibly somewhere along there build a compression center that they would actually be suppliers to that mother. So there's several ways of supplying it, but, and versus the 1 million per mile, a decompression station costs 300,000. Okay, and so they still gotta lay smaller pipelines to homes and businesses and stuff like that. But usually they get a consensus first. And I can tell you, if you wanna really hear a lot about it, check out Marysville. They're already 6 months to a year ahead of this. They're doing it whether or not the county joins in with them, because they see that it's beneficial. Ladyfinger's already agreed verbally, other places agreed verbally that they're going to probably consider, because it's like a third of the cost.
I thought Ladyfingers was moving.
No. At one point there was discussion about them moving to the business park, but that fell out, that never happened.
Company I work for is already involved with two of them other projects in the northern part, the western part of the state, where they're putting them on tractor trailers, and they're actually going to try to bottle natural gas like they do for pain. And the same aspect, but they said they're already doing it in cogen operations, where we got pictures of it, where they're just taking tractor trailer load after tractor trailer load every day. They take them into coal burners and they're converting them over to coal, and they're feeding them via truck.
Yep.
I mean,
It's a really, and what's nice about it right now, they're saying that all the natural gas that's going to be used is Pennsylvania produced. Is Pennsylvania produced. So, but there will be more discussions in the future with the county with that. So, but it's kind of neat. So, and on the other note, I would just say, Mr. Chairman, we may have our differences over the last 2 years, but I do want to thank you for your wealth of knowledge and wisdom that you've given me from time to time. I went to the principal's office, but I've been schooled. And I just want to thank you for that wealth of wisdom and knowledge. A couple of weeks ago, you made a comment that sometimes people just call you a dumb old farmer. Mr. Holman, I don't.
That's a compliment.
Well, but I don't believe that.
That's a compliment to me. You wanna call me something, you call me a dumb old farmer. You can't get it any better than that.
Well, I won't do that because I don't think you're a dumb man. I think you're a smart man. You have a lot of knowledge.
You know what's good about
And I
that, Brian?
and I got your phone number.
Tell you why that's a compliment? A farmer can't exist without common sense, and there's nothing anymore that's uncommon than the common sense. Let me tell you, you can't exist on a farm, by golly, and make it without common sense, and it's probably the most uncommon thing that's around anymore. It's scary to where we're at. You talk about the natural gas, I will tell you, I've seen worked on liquefied natural gas clear back when we were bringing it into this country from Saudi Arabia and pumping it into liquid gas and blending it in our systems over here at Chambersburg at a pumping station. There is gas in this area. I've had inquiries down there with whether I'd be interested in drilling on the farm for gas. You have Utica Shale and you have the Marcellus down there. And they say it's not here, but it is. I come out of Atlanta-based Georgia. I was quick to sign it and said I'm more than interested. And when their land preservation was put through with the county, that was one of the stipulations in it. I have that right, by golly, to drill a well. And it doesn't affect anything else over there. They can be placed over there. There's others in the code down here that were asked, had same inquiries from that. as to it. So it's here, it's coming, and they may not hook it to the pipeline. They may have these small compressor units where they liquefy or they're going out in 100-pound bottles, just like your propane.
Well,
It's coming, you're gonna see it.
question for you. So when you strike it rich, township picnic's on you, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the arguments that I've had with the county commissioners is why can't I develop an ordinance in this township that says anybody drills a well in Penn Township, that a proportion of those royalties is contributed to this township, because if I have one, I do that. I give a percentage of it to the township for the benefit of the township. Why can't we do that? How much money is our county commissioners get because they cornered that? They get the cotton picking gas money right now, goes into the county commissioners. You can't pass an ordinance in this township to drill a well that you can tax it by going and bring any revenue into this office.
County's got that right.
They got that. They got that. They're already getting, what, $600-some-thousand, I think, a year, by golly, all of these gas royalties.
Well, don't tell Governor Wolf that, he might balance the budget on them.
Yeah, you know. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, do that. And that's where we're
Who's
at.
gonna second?
Huh,
I
pardon?
second.
Second.
Okay.
This meeting is adjourned.
Thank God.
Alan, I'll be in the morning.
Yeah, well,